Here in the Irish Hills outside Detroit, one driver hopes the luck of the Irish will follow him through today's race. It's been a tough year for Mark Martin. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. The car has run well at most races, but he's seen his chances for victory end, in some cases, before they begin. At other times, he's seen his chance of winning go up in smoke and even roll away in the pit area. When he was here at Michigan in June, luck was nowhere to be found. The problem in that case was fuel mileage. It denied him a dominating victory. Last week at Watkins Glen, he had by far the fastest car, but his bad luck this time came in the pit area on two different occasions. The break came when leader Kyle Petty and second place Dale Earnhardt crashed, resulting in Martin's first victory of 1993. Today, Martin has brought to these Irish Hills all kinds of lucky charms, hoping they'll carry him on his winning ways. Even crew chief Steve Meal has a four-leaf clover as Martin hopes to have another dominant day at Michigan International Speedway. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Michigan International Speedway and the champion Spark Plug 400. Hot, hazy, and humid are the weather words for today. We have a temperature that's in the mid-80s, and there is a 40% chance of rain later this afternoon. The point standings. Dale Jarrett, 281 behind the points leader Dale Earnhardt. Mark Martin has moved to fourth in the point standings, but he's only 103 out of second place. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Michigan International. Mark Martin is without question the hottest driver going right now. He won last weekend at Watkins Glen, and he won yesterday's Busch Grand National race here. In the last 5 races, he's moved up 8 positions in the point standings and gained 55 points on Dale Earnhardt. Now, while Mark is moving in on the points leader, others are moving in on their first win. And Ned and Benny, that's going to be reflected in a few minutes in the starting lineup for today.
Bob, in qualifying on Friday afternoon, 12 cars broke the existing track record. And Ned, in looking at the starting lineup, we don't have to go too far to try to find someone who needs a victory.
No, the man on the pole, Ken Schrader, has 5 poles this year, but no victories, and you know how badly he wants to win, and he's certainly capable. And on the outside pole, Lake Speed has put the Robert Yates Ford there. Only his second race in that car, but it is a proven winner on this racetrack, and I think Lake Speed just might be the guy that can put it back in victory lane.
Now let's go back to row 3. Todd Bodine and Ted Musgrave, a couple of guys who run well, but you wouldn't think would be in the third row.
Well, Ted Musgrave has always run well on this racetrack. He just announced this week that he'll have a new ride in 1994 driving for Jack Roush. And he might just win his first race ever here. And Benny, there are 4 former Daytona 500 winners starting in the second half of the field. Wonder what we can expect seeing those guys come up through the field.
And some of the guys that broke track records were rookies. Here's Jerry Punch with them.
Guys, not since 1979 has the Max Race Car Rookie Battle seen this much talent come in the circuit in one year. Remember 79? Dale Earnhardt, Harry Gant, and Terry Labonte. Earnhardt won out, but it was an awfully close battle. This year, 3 very dynamic rookies, all 3 qualifying up front, 5th, 6th, 7th row. Back in row 7, we have Kenny Wallace, the Dirt Devil Pontiac, coming off his best finish at night at Watkins Glen. Row 6, right behind me, the Maxwell House Ford, Bobby Labonte, former Busch Series champion. His best finish ever, 7th at Watkins Glen. But remember Talladega, he started 41st, shotgun on the field, came all the way to 2nd place on the white flag and ran out of gas. But he's coming in a hurry, thanks to Tim Brewer and the crew. And what about row 5? Jeff Gordon, the DuPont Chevrolet driver. Remember what he did in Daytona? Won the qualifier, finished 5th in the 500, and he finished 2nd here, back into this car. Possibly a rookie could win it here today. And Jeff Gordon has a good shot. Why are these rookies so comfortable? For more, here's John Kernan.
Jerry, I guess he's
could say everybody's a little more comfortable because Goodyear has brought a really great tire for this racetrack. In fact, it's the same one they ran at Dover earlier this year. A little bit softer on the right side, so they're a lot faster. Also, more efficient use of the contact patch. And the tires wear great. Everybody expects them to be very, very consistent today. In fact, Bob, the only problem a lot of the crew chiefs have thought about today is that they're turning the engine so hard because of the increased speeds that we could see some motor problems.
Well, those increased speeds have led to an unbelievable statistic. All 40 qualifiers today were faster than the pole speed turned in the race here in June. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Champion Spark Plugs. No matter what you drive, Champion has quality from the start. By Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Welcome back to ESPN Speed World coverage of the Champion Spark Plug 400 from Michigan International. Let's take a look now at the starting lineup. The pole sitter is in the Kodiak Chevrolet. Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri, qualifying at 180.750. He'll drive car 25. Lake Speed is outside the front row in the Texaco Haviland Ford. He's from Jackson, Mississippi. Ricky Rudd will start third. He's from Chesapeake, Virginia, and will drive the number 5 Tide Chevrolet. Outside the second row is Morgan Shepherd from Condover, North Carolina, in the number 21 Citgo Ford. The third row, Franklin, Wisconsin's Ted Musgrave in the Jasper Engines U.S. Air Ford, car number 55. And then Todd Bodine in the factory store's Ford number 75. Todd hails from Chemung, New York. Starting in 7th position will be Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodrich Chevrolet, car number 3. And then Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 11 Budweiser Amoco Ford. The 5th row, Jeff Gordon from Pittsboro, Indiana, drives the DuPont Chevrolet, car number 24. And then from St. Louis, Missouri, Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Pontiac, number 2. The 11th starting spot goes to Bobby Labonte in the Maxwell House Ford, number 22. And then Mark Martin from Batesville, Arkansas, in the number 6 Valvoline Ford. Rest of the starting lineup in row number 7, it's Greg Sachs and Kenny Wallace. Jimmy Hensley and Rick Mast go from positions in the 8th row. Derek Cope and Bobby Hillen in row 9. Brett Bodine and Harry Gant back in the 10th row. And now we begin the second-day qualifiers, or at least those who qualified and stood on their time. Joe Nemechek was the fastest second-day qualifier. Also, Ernie Irvin is back in the second half of the field. And as Ned indicated, 4 former Daytona 500 winners are starting in the second half of the field. 41 cars here today. And as you will see in just a few moments, the provisional starter was Terry Labonte, who crashed his car during a qualification attempt, and his speed yesterday during second-day qualifying was not good enough to get into the field. Well, our in-car cameras today are being carried by, among others, Jeff Bodine in the Motorcraft Ford. And, Benny, let's see if we can raise Jeff here.
Hi, Jeff Bodine. This is Benny Parsons of ESPN. You hear me?
Yeah, Benny, I hear you.
Hey, buddy, I see you're dropping back. What's the problem?
Well, we're going to come in here and make a little pit stop, top out with fuel before this race. But the real problem is I missed my driver's introduction out at the start-finish line. I was had a little stomach virus this morning in the restroom taking care of that, and I missed it by about 10 drivers. So here I come in and pits. I'm going to have to start last, so we figured, well, what the heck, let's just fill it up with fuel.
You mean the penalty for missing introduction is you have to start at the rear of the field?
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop here and let these boys put a little fuel in me and check it out. Maybe we can outgas him here, outlast him with fuel.
Well, you know, fuel mileage has always been a factor here at Michigan. Maybe that one lap will help.
Well, we're going to try. Of course, this opportunity, I always need to take time to say hi to Kathy and Matthew back home. I love them. Let's hope this is a good race for us.
Well, good luck to you, buddy.
Thanks, Benny.
Jeff Bodine and Darrell Waltrip will drop to the rear of the field because they missed the driver introduction. There is Morgan Shepherd. As you can see, he's lined up in the second row. Just ahead of him is Lake Speed, and the pole sitter, Kenny Schrader, is to his left up front. And our third in-car camera will be carried by Bobby Hillen, driving the Heilig Myers Ford. And now let's take a look look at our Busch track description as we get set to take the green flag. This is a 2-mile D-shaped tri-oval, and the speed was 180.750. The pole speed 39.834 seconds, and this is now the third fastest track on the series, next to Daytona and Talladega. There you can see it is a D-shaped tri-oval here at Michigan International with some pretty good banking on the turns. Out in turns number 1 and 2, the banking is at 18 degrees.
And a fairly easy corner to negotiate because of the tri-oval being turned the way it does. It gets you in turn 1 really well. Backstretch, 2,200 feet. Turn 3, very difficult this racetrack because you go in. So you have to make the car turn such a sharp angle, and here they come, Bob.
Off of turn number 4, the green awaits, and it's flying, and here we go with the champion Sparkplug 400. Welcome to our live coverage here this afternoon. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Down to the bottom of the racetrack. Now he's going to fall in behind Ted Musgrave as they get into single file formation, except up front where Ricky Rudd challenges his Hendrick teammate Ken Schrader for the lead, but Schrader holds him off. Lake Speed running third. Then comes Shepard and Earnhardt.
Earnhardt has moved up. There we see that the Congo and car pit over side by side. Mark Martin won it last weekend. His car was so dominant here in June.
Going for the lead.
Oh, he went way down to the white line using every inch of racetrack, but it worked. Ricky Rudd takes command from Ken Schrader. Battle back for 4th position now, and Earnhardt, we see him pass Wallace just under turn 2, car into the wall.
Is that Todd Bodine?
I believe it is, and he stays very high. Now it comes back down, but it looks like everyone is going to get by him. A miracle, really, as far up in the pack as he was, that everybody was able to get by. So Todd Bodine in the Factory Stores of America Ford. A little damage on the rear there. You can see that left rear quarter panel hanging down.
The car spun and slid about halfway down the banking, but fortunately those behind him missed him. Some went high, some went low, but everything is okay as the caution comes out for the first time, and Todd Bodine is the reason for our first yellow.
Well, you can see him there. Just the car just looks like it gets loose, Bob, and spins around to the high side of the racetrack. Fortunately, it stays up there for a pretty good little bit, then comes back down, but still room enough as wide as this track is for others to get by.
And that's one of the nice things about this track here at Michigan. It is nice and wide, which allows for 4 and 5 abreast racing, and it also allows a lot of running room when there is trouble ahead of you. We'll be right back. Under our first caution of the race here at Michigan International Speedway, a spin by Todd Bodine, and Jeff Bodine has come in for another pit stop. And again, we point out that this has been, in the last couple of races, a fuel mileage race, and so Jeff is taking advantage of every opportunity to come in and top off.
He had passed, what, Ned, 5 or 6 cars since the start of the race?
Right.
And he felt like he could pass those cars again, so why not stop, get the extra fuel, the gallon or 2 of gas he might need.
And the Todd Bodine car is on pit road. Jerry, here's an update.
Bob Todd brought the Factory Stores Ford down pit road. Butchmock Enterprises crew working on it. They had a flat right front tire. Not sure whether the tire went down prior to the spin. They really don't know themselves. The tire, apparently, the car went over in the corner and just lurched, and Todd spun it and tried to keep it from damaging too much to the car. They're changing now left side tires. They've already changed the right side tires. They'll be able to get Todd back out, but the right front tire was down on the interliner when he came down pit road.
And Jerry's going to go down a lap here as the field comes off of turn 4 to get the green flag.
Yeah, the pace car is moving in. The field is coming down, and Bodine is not going to get out ahead of the pack as it comes down and takes the green flag, and we resume our competition. on the inside as there's a side-by-side battle for third. Lake Speed is on the inside and Dale Earnhardt on the outside. Down the backstretch is Morgan Shepherd watching from fifth.
Lake Speed's trying to figure out who's going to make the pass. He wants to follow them. And it looks like Schrader's the guy that's hauling that on the inside.
He and Earnhardt almost got together. And, yeah, I think that inside position right now is not the place to be, Benny, because they're hooked up in a draft on the high side, have momentum coming off the turn. They're going to drive right on by straight. He'll be fourth going into turn one.
It's not as much as a factor here as it is at Daytona or Talladega, but drafting is definitely a factor. And there is Bill Elliott and Rusty Wallace. Not too far behind is Bobby Labonte. They're in car number 22. That's 8th, 9th, and 10th as Labonte takes a look to the inside of Rusty Wallace.
Well, pulls out and makes the pass look easy. Now Rusty will come back up on the outside.
Now he's got Greg Sachs. Rusty has Greg Sachs right behind him, the country time car. And like Ned, we talked about on the last lap, that draft on the outside, they go by that car on the inside.
22 car, though, of the Labonte able to get back up in line. First 7 cars have kind of broken away from the others. And Rudd stretches it out now just a little bit over Dale Earnhardt, who has taken second position. And here is Jeff Gordon racing alongside Ernie Irvan.
I'll tell you what, Ernie Irvan is the guy on the move.
Yeah, he had a poor qualifying by his standards at least here, starting in 24th position. But normally that Morgan McClure Kodak Film Chevrolet qualifies up towards the front. More on that. Let's go to 5th and John Kerner.
Just somewhat of a concern. The guys who are down here in the pits are watching very closely, Ernie. They had to change the motors earlier this morning when they fired it up, whenever they were inspecting the car before going through the NASCAR inspection. They were doing their checklist. Something was wrong with the motor. They decided to change engines this morning. They're watching that. Ernie has also radioed in and told them the car is just a little bit too tight. So look for them to make a chassis adjustment to loosen it up a little bit on the first round of pit stops.
Ernie Irvan is in 12th at the moment, trying to take 11th spot away from Bobby Labonte, and he just blew by him on the inside.
Tell you what the car looks like. He is absolutely fine. Might be the fastest car on the racetrack.
Mark Martin wants to move up a spot as he has pulled alongside Morgan Shepherd and Ted Musgrave.
Yeah, I think Mark Martin would challenge Ernie Irvan as far as the fastest car on the racetrack is concerned. Tough to pass on this racetrack when you get up towards the front. These cars are awfully fast, and you saw Martin had a problem down on the inside. But that car really was working good yesterday in practice.
Musgrave and Martin will be teammates next year for Jack Roush. Ted Musgrave has been confirmed as the replacement for Wally Dallenbach Jr. We look out the back of Morgan Shepherd's car to Musgrave.
Pulls up right on the back bumper, and Mark Martin must have gotten his car a little bit sideways as he came off the second corner because he lost several car lengths to Ted Musgrave. We see he's still trying to get those car lengths back.
By the way, Todd Bodine was in for another stop, but he's back out on the racetrack. As the lead continues to be held by Ricky Rudd, but now Lake Speed begins to pull up on Dale Earnhardt and challenge him for second.
Tell you what, Lake Speed started driving his car. Watkins Glen did a great job, and so far this weekend, everything looks like it's just coming up roses for Lake Speed and Larry McReynolds, Robert Yates, and his crew.
Riding on top of Morgan Shepherd's car, and that's how far he is behind the lead group.
Ricky Rudd, the Tide Chevrolet, and here goes Lake Speed on the inside. Looks like he has the pass made. He can come off if Earnhardt will let him have the room. He did let him have the room.
And boy, you need all, when you're coming off that fast, you need all of that room out to the wall. But he had him clear and drove right on around.
Earnhardt started 7th, moved to 4th quickly, and now finds himself in 3rd position. But Ricky Rudd is the man to beat right now. And here's Jerry Punch with more.
Guys, Ricky Rudd won this race back in June on fuel mileage. He told me he was at best a 3rd or 4th place car. No one could run with Mark Martin, including him. Now, back in June, they could run about 55 laps on fuel. That was their fuel mileage. But they gave up their advantage. They were going to give up our fuel mileage, different carburetor, different intake, different heads for horsepower. Today, we're not going to get nearly the fuel mileage, but we're going for horsepower. We're going to turn this thing so we can possibly run with Mark Martin. I believe they've done a pretty good job right now. It looks like they've won the battle.
Yeah, they're doing all right, track, but there's some good racing behind, as there is the 8 car of Sterling Marlin.
He started 34th, is right now running 21st, and here's Mark Martin, Ted Musgrave, and Morgan Shepherd looking back at Mark Martin.
Battle among 3 Fords here. Musgrave is going to fall in behind Mark, it looks.
Yeah, he'll be his teammate next year. He said, let me see what gets him around this racetrack so fast. So I'll follow him here for a little bit.
13 laps have been completed here. Ricky Rudd pulling out his advantage over Lake Speed as we continue to watch this battle. And there is the interval between that group of cars and the leader, Ricky Rudd. Back with more of our live coverage after this. Hills of southern Michigan, and Michigan International Speedway is the venue for the 20th race of the Winston Cup season, the Champion Spark Plug 400. There is Ricky Rudd, who is making his 34th Michigan International start today. That makes him 3rd behind Dave Marcus and Darrell Waltrip in the active drivers. And Jeff Gordon is alongside Bill Elliott, and Elliott has been dropping back here from his starting position.
Yeah, he started in 8th. The caution is out right now, Bob, as Ricky Rudd comes back to the start-finish line. Perhaps debris on the track. Don't see a car or anything.
Don't see anything that would indicate a spin or a crash of any type, so we presume that it's either debris or some type of oil on the racetrack.
That's what one of our spotters is telling us, that debris on the racetrack has caused the caution flag, debris in turn 3. So now, are they going to pit? They've run 17 laps.
I think it'll depend a great deal on what Ricky Rudd does. And I would wager, you know, a handkerchief or something that they might would.
Not very much, huh?
No, not too much. One that I'm not going to use, hopefully, today.
They've run 35 miles. You think they'll stop and get some gas?
I believe they will. I believe they will.
Well, we mentioned the fact that Bill Elliott was dropping back, at least from his starting position. Jerry, you been able to find out what might be the problem there?
Indeed, Bob. I spoke with Mike Beam. What a break for Elliott. They were going to have to pit the next time out. They have a tire going down on the Budweiser Ford, so this caution was certainly a big break for them. They would have lost a lap under green, and now they get to make their pit stop along with everyone else that's going to be coming in momentarily for the first caution flag stop of the day.
Big break for Bill Elliott. Now, as they come down pit road, the speed limit will be 65 miles per hour.
And Jeff Bodine might stay on the racetrack because he has a 4-lap cushion. He has only run about 15 laps. So he might stay out. Let's see what he's going to do. As everyone, look at this. Everyone follows Ricky Rudd down pit road. And Jeff Bodine, I see him back there. He came down as well. Jerry Punch, here we go.
And the Hendrick Motorsports team hitting 5 on top, 28 in the middle, and 3 on the bottom. That is 2 Chevrolets and a Ford. 5 on top of your screen. That's Ricky Rudd. Right side tire's already on. Left side's on for Dale. Now right side's going on for him. They went left side first, and then right side's on Earnhardt. 28 cars already out. That's Lake Speed, the Haviland crew. You're watching 3 pit stops. Split screen has Earnhardt and Rudd. Now head down pit road. You're watching 3 of the top contenders pitting simultaneously here on the first caution flag stop of the day. They head back for turn 1.
Well, instead of keeping track of 2 cars now, we're keeping track of 3 on the same screen. That's pretty neat.
I tell you what, is that a tire in the middle of pit road?
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Dale Jarrett nearly hit it. I don't think he did, but now it has been retrieved by one of the crewmen, so everything is okay on pit road. And the field lines up now for a restart, and it would appear as if Lake Speed will be the leader, and this is the first time that Lake Speed has led a race since February of 1990 at the Daytona 500, 47 races ago. Well, they're going to assess a stop-and-go penalty to Morgan Shepherd, who ran over an air hose, so he'll be coming in for a quick stop. We're going to take another break. Under caution, back at Michigan International Speedway in a moment. Lining up for a restart. They'll get the green this time around. Here's a pit stop summary. Ricky Rudd was the leader, but has come out in 7th position. Lake Speed before the pit stop was 2nd. He's now going to be the leader. Earnhardt from 3rd to 9th. Ken Schrader from 4th to 17th. And Mark Martin from 5th position to 8th. Now, why did Lake Speed have such a good pit stop, John?
Well, Bob, it was 11.9 seconds, right side tires only. The car was running just a little bit tight. Larry McReynolds said they hadn't really seen picking up that much whenever they put on 4 tires versus just putting on 2 tires. He said it could turn out to bite them, but they figured track position was so important, they wanted to get Lake out front.
And he is as the green waves, and again, this is the first time since 1990 he's led on the lap.
And, Bob, it was car number 41, Phil Parsons, that was assessed the stop-and-go penalty for running over the air hose. So Phil did come in the Mannheim Auto Chevrolet, and he's at the rear of the field, but he did take his penalty.
We heard it was 21 Morgan Shepherd. It was not. It was 41 Phil Parsons.
Phil was running very good, too. He was running back in about 20th position before that pit stop, but was hanging right in fact, moving up some.
Well, what Rudd lost in the pit area, he's trying to make up on the racetrack. Here comes Mark Martin right behind him, and up front, it is Ernie Irvin who slides ahead of Lake Speed and takes over the lead as Jeff Gordon and Greg Sachs battle for third.
There's Ted Musgrave way in the back. Lost several positions on that pit stop. Now looks like Jeff Gordon's hung on the inside.
It was interesting that some teams chose to change 2 tires while others took on 4. So we got some new faces up here at the front.
Ernie Irvin also took 2 tires on his stop. That's the reason that he got out so fast and is now in the lead. Jeff Gordon got passed by several cars as he got hung on the inside, but now he falls back in line as Rudd battles alongside the 68 car, and here comes Mark Martin racing alongside Rusty Wallace, and there's Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon also.
Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, Dale Earnhart.
You said Dale Jarrett, but
sorry,
Earnhardt.
Yes, it is.
Well, Dale Jarrett, appreciate that. But he's not that far. He's not quite that far up right now. He's back probably about 22nd position right now.
Now we see Martin trying to get by Sachs. Tell you what, passing is hard to do. I can see why they just changed 2 tires. Larry McReynolds and the crew just changed 2, going for that track position, because we can see just how difficult it is to pass. Mark Martin trying to get by Sachs. Can't make the pass.
Good shot from the roof cam on Morgan Shepherd's car. Jeff Gordon is ahead, and Rusty Wallace is beside or behind.
And we can see that Mark Martin had to fall back behind Greg Sachs. Now they don't make that pass. There he is again. And once again, can't make the pass, and Earnhardt gets by him on the outside. Now let's see if Earnhardt can pass Sachs.
Now, Earnhardt took on 4 tires, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And that might be making a difference here. He has passed several cars, just driven right on under him. Rusty Wallace and Gordon and several of them. So he's moving right along. That 4-tire change line has helped him.
Sterling Marlin has had a good 24 laps.
Musgrave going by Sterling Marlin. Yes, it was. He's there alongside now.
He started way back in 34th position.
He was up to about 20th, but Michael Waltrip, Pimsol, Pontiac, back behind these 2. There's Hutch Strickland, McDonald's Ford.
There you can see how Marlin started 34th.
And here's the race for the lead.
They get side by side.
Blake had to back out.
Wow.
I mean, he had to back out big time, and Ernie did too. Ricky Rudd just went by both of them.
Boy, I thought we had a major crash on our hands there, but both of them knew that they were out of shape and out of line, and so both of them backed off. It's resulted in Ricky Rudd taking the lead, and now here comes Earnhardt to challenge Speed for third.
Takes you a lap or 2 to get your bearings back and get your rhythm going again after you go through a situation like that. And said, hey, settle down here a little bit. Let's don't do nothing too foolish here this early in the race.
Take me a few laps to clean my pants.
And we can see that Mark Martin is trying to pass these guys down the straightaway. He's not able to make it. They keep going by him on the outside. Mark Martin, who's so dominant in Jim, here losing positions.
A lap ago in turn 2, here's what happened.
Lake Speed goes in the corner. Now he gets the car a little bit loose. He has to go up the hill to save it, but unfortunately, the 4 car is right there. And fortunately, Lake backed off the throttle.
And Ernie had to to back off the throttle, too, because Lake got into him a little bit there. I think they really traded a little bit of paint. But Earnhardt there now takes over the third position from Lake Speed. Morgan Shepherd down on the inside trying to take a position away from Greg Sachs.
Sachs is hanging right in there, the country time car.
It sure is.
And John Kernan has been keeping track of the good race that Sachs is having so far, John.
You know, Bob, a lot of the drivers have been complaining about their cars being tight. Sachs told me this morning that they had actually gotten the car loose yesterday afternoon in the final practice session. He said that made him very, very happy because you can always tighten the car up during the race. It's easier to tighten the car up than it is to loosen it up during the race. And Greg says that's the way he likes the race car. He was very confident that he would have a good run today.
Well, just as we do a little bit of bragging on him, he loses one position to Mark Martin, but no problem because he's still well up there in the top 10.
This is on top of Morgan Shepherd's car, the Citgo Ford.
Greg is 6th and Morgan is 7th.
Morgan trying to take a look on the inside as Mark Martin thought about looking on the inside of Lake Speed, but Morgan does. No, he falls back in line. Thought he was coming out there.
Ken Schrader, who is eligible for only $7,600 in Unocal money because the big bonus was won last weekend at Watkins Glen by pole sitter Mark Martin. Now, once again, Morgan Shepherd and Greg Sachs are side by side, and Rusty is tucked right in on the back bumper of the Country Time Ford.
You know, we mentioned that Ken Schrader dropped back to 17th on that pit stop. He's back up now in the top 10, being shown in the 9th position, so he's made some pretty good moves here in these 5 or 6 laps since the car green came back out.
See Schrader dug back in, got in line behind Rusty Wallace. This looks like racing at Talladega Daytona, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Drafted.
Yeah, as fast as they're going here now, the draft is, the faster you go, the more effective the draft is. And certainly when the speeds escalated here this time because of those Goodyear tires, the drafting is comes into play more now than ever before.
Well, they said that if you had a trap speed at the end of the backstretch, the cars do achieve or come very, very close to 200 miles an hour. 30 laps complete. Back after this. Here's the interval leaderboard. You can see that Ernie Irvin is a little over a second behind Ricky Rudd, the leader. Earnhardt about a second and a half. Lake Speed almost 2 seconds. And Mark Martin has moved to 5th. He's 2.3 seconds behind Ricky Rudd. And the best battle on the racetrack is between Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt.
This is for 3rd spot. And Mark Martin is making a march towards the front now.
He really is. That car is handling like we've seen it do so many times, just sticking right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Then he moved around Earnhardt with ease there. Now he sets his sights on the car number 4, Ernie Irvin.
Car didn't seem to work that well on the first time when they changed tires. He was just another car, but as the tires get warm, start heating up, the car starts slowing down. He goes to the front.
While we watch this action on the track, we will tell you that Joe Nemechek has made numerous pit stops. They're having a problem with the steering of that car. He can only turn it so far and is having a great deal of difficulty. And so they're trying to get that car sorted out.
Well, you don't turn the steering wheel a lot on this racetrack, Bob, to make these wide sweeping turns. And we watched Mark Martin take measure on Ernie Irvin coming off of turn 2. But I don't think you want to be out there too long having to wrestle with that thing at the speeds they're running here.
I'd want it if I needed it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So Martin has moved to 2nd now. Irvin back to 3rd, and Dale Earnhardt is 4th. And it is a 1.7-second interval between the leader, Ricky Rudd, and 2nd place, Mark Martin. And Jerry, Mark Martin is once again showing a great deal of superiority here.
Well, he's awfully strong, Bob. I talked to Steve Mills. He said, we're not going to be as tough as we were back in June, but we're going to be awfully good. He said, you know, the good thing about our car is that we stay consistent on the tires longer than a lot of other people. Other people are slowing down according to the stopwatch, but Martin's times are about the same. So he is able to pass people. So everyone is slowing down, Steve Mills said, except the 5-car of Rudd. He's going to be tough.
Rudd is tough. He is leading this race. This is only the 2nd event, however, of the 93 season that he has led more than 1 lap, and that race was here in June when he won. He led 19. Right now, he has led 27 laps of the first 35.
Wow, look at the racing we've got going here. We've got Bodine, Elliott, Michael Walter, Ted Musgrave, Sterling Marlin,
Rick Mass.
Bobby Hill's in that bunch, I think.
Now we get to mention Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, Dale was back pretty far. He caught this group of cars, but I'll tell you, it's tough to pass, as we've already said. He's been on the inside of Rick Mass for a couple of laps now, but just has not been able to move on around.
Glad to see Rick Mass back with no problems after his tremendous crash at Watkins Glen last weekend. Ooh, look at that car dance up ahead there.
Yeah. Rick was walking rather gingerly around the pit. He was still sore on Friday. Of course, getting a workout in a race car is probably the best thing for him.
And turning his head very slowly.
Here's a Napa field summary. Watch for your favorite driver and where he was running just one lap ago.
As we watch this, Rick Mass said he tried one of those insurance collars, you know, one of those white collars you go around your neck, but he couldn't really drive the car that way, so he put a headrest up to hold his head against it. He's going to try that, see if that will suffice for his problem today. It's very, very sore neck.
38 cars are on the lead lap. Rich Bickle being shown out of competition. Now it's 3 wide coming off 4. Musgrave, Marlin, and Elliott, and they're 3 wide behind that group.
Now they're going to get 6 wide? No.
No.
Still 3 wide going into the turn.
That is unbelievable. They are 3 wide in the corner. Man, man. We saw Elliott's car wiggle a little bit from Bobby Hillen's car.
Boy, it won't take just a little bit of a slip by somebody, and that could be big trouble. Those guys are driving their heart out, every one of them. Oh, Bobby, don't drive up in the middle.
Again, 3 wide coming through
right
the
up
corner.
in there, no problem.
And here's Michael Walter 4 abreast on the inside. Well, Bill Elliott backed off, so it's only 3 abreast.
Only 3 abreast.
Michael Walter said, that looks like fun. Let me in there. Then he found out when he got to turn 1, it wasn't that much fun.
Yeah. You can get a lot of momentum, especially when a couple of cars are running side by side in front of you. You can build it up and say, man, I got some horsepower all of a sudden, and take off. There's some horsepower, too.
Now only an 0.8 of a second interval between Ricky Rudd, the leader, and Mark Martin in second. And these 2 cars were the stars of the race here in June. Rudd won, but only because Mark Martin, who had the fastest car all day, did not go to the finish on fuel and had to make a pit stop.
And we can see that Mark Martin slowly gaining on that Tide Chevrolet. So we are definitely going to have us a race for the lead in just a moment.
And back for 3rd position, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th are pretty close together as Lake Speed and Ernie Irvin side by side into turn 3.
Looking back at Morgan Shepherd's car, back at Ernie Irvin. We can see that how rough the racetrack is, or how the bumps are shaking the camera. And folks, that's not your eyeballs, that's the camera.
With as much freezing and thawing as there is up here in the wintertime, you would think this track would be really rough, but Roger Penske, of course, keeps it in fine shape.
And Jerry Punch, is Ricky Rudd having a problem of some kind?
There have been reports of possibly some fluid leaking out of the car. I know a NASCAR official came over to speak to you, Gary. Is there a problem with the car?
Well, not that we know of right now. We have asked Ricky to check the gauges and all. He said everything looks normal. I don't know what it could be at this point.
So the crew's still trying to figure it out. Gary Dehart and the rest of the Tide crew, they would surmise that it might be an overheating problem. There may be some water coming out of the overflow. So they're going to keep a close eye on the car number 5.
Well, those 2 cars have checked out on everybody else, and now Irvin tries to move up another spot, going to the inside of Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan tried to pass Dale Earnhardt down in turns 1 and 2, had to back up off the throttle just a little bit, which allowed Ernie Irvin to pull alongside of him.
And Morgan Shepherd, who started this race in 4th position, is hanging right in there, John Kernan.
Yes, he is, Bob. You know, we talked about how Ernie Irvin and Lake Speed took on only 2 tires. Well, the Wood brothers opted for a 4-tire change. the car was a little bit tight at the last pit stop, so they took a rubber out of the right front. Eddie Wood tells me that the car's feeling really good. The Morgan right now, he's just trying to hang on because they're going so fast out here. You almost never lift unless you see potential trouble. And from what I can hear from you guys talking, that's apparently what Morgan saw a couple laps ago. Is that right? Or did I misunderstand?
No, you heard us correctly.
And now we see Morgan. He looks right behind the 28 car. And there is the leaders, Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin.
And now Martin is within less than a half a second from leader Ricky Rudd.
Just gradually close.
Well, I came pretty close, 3/10. I said a half a second. It was 3/10.
And right now, there's not a real push to get the lead, is there, Ned? Mark Martin doesn't have to go up past Ricky Rudd for the lead. He knows he's a fast race car.
Well, yeah, he does want to get up there and take the lead one time and get him 5 bonus points. But he does have a good race car and doesn't need to strain it too much to do that. But you never know what might happen if you get those 5 bonus points early. It's always helpful.
Average speed is 147.6 as we've completed 44 laps out of 200 in the Champion Sparkplug 400. Still the number 5 car of Ricky Rudd leading the Champion Sparkplug 400. Second place, the 6 car of Mark Martin. Then a little bit of racetrack back to a group of cars that includes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Third place right now held by Dale Earnhardt. Well, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, live here on ESPN, it is Sunday Night Baseball. And the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves will hook up. The last couple of games, the Braves have taken the measure of the Cincinnati Reds. Let's see what happens tonight. Join us live at 8 o'clock for ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Riverfront.
Morgan Shepherd trying to take third spot away from Dale Earnhardt. Got inside down in turn 1, could not make the pass. Now he's going back again. As the camera watches him, goes in the corner. He drives in, but Earnhardt drives it on the outside. And Morgan goes up the hill.
Don't go too hard.
There's somebody there.
Oh, and Earnhardt really got up close to the wall as Ernie Irvin now joins the low crew.
Boy, you have to work so hard. He's done clear now, going into the first turn. Yeah, finally.
Well, we told you a few minutes ago that Joe Nemechek had been on pit road several times. Unfortunately, the car is behind the wall, and Jerry's with Joe.
And Joe is climbing out of the car. Joe, they're working here beside you. What are they doing? What's the problem?
Well, went down into turn 3, and all of a sudden the car went straight, and it wasn't a good feeling. I knew something was wrong. I felt like either a ball joint broke or something happened to the steering. And we came in, and it pulled the lower A-frame mount right out of the frame.
Well, you're lucky.
We're just having some tough luck right now, both in the Busch Series and here in Winston Cup. I feel sorry for Cintas. They stuck with us for a couple races. We gave them a good show at Watkins Glen. We were hoping to do the same here. And I'm just trying to get some experience, and we'll be back.
Joe Nemechek, the 1992 Busch Grand National Series champion, his third start. And, guys, a lot of people in the Winston Cup garage mentioning his name for a possible Winston Cup ride next year.
Last year's Busch Grand National champion. Now we see that Morgan Shepherd is in third position, followed by Dale Earnhardt, Ken Schrader, Lake Speed, Rusty Wallace, and then Ernie Irvin.
And Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, and the interval between first and third is 7.2 seconds.
And while these guys are racing back there, the front 2 are just running single file and pulling away.
Never see Earnhardt up high on the racetrack, followed by our pole sitter, Kenny Schrader, the Kodiak Chevrolet, and Lake Speed on the outside. So Schrader and Lake Speed still running side by side or nose to tail, but unfortunately it's not for the lead anymore.
And Morgan Shepherd began to pull away a little bit from this group of cars, and Ricky Rudd holding on about the same distance to Mark Martin.
And there we see Morgan Shepherd. That's the difference between Mark Martin and Morgan Shepherd. At least the almost the entire front straightaway. Here comes Schrader trying to go by Earnhardt. Down in turn 1, he's on the inside, and no, not quite. I thought he had the position made, but Earnhardt drove back by. That's P.J. Jones on the inside, the white car. Harry Mellon car. Not racing these guys for position.
We'll see where P.J. shows up here in the Napa field summary. He has been lapped now. He was on the lead lap last time he had a field summary, but now he has been passed by the leaders. Jeff Bodine. Well, on the roof of that car, remember he had to drop to the rear of the field for the start of the race because he had some stomach flu and missed the driver introduction. So he's trying to move up from the back of the pack. And let's see, he's in 20th position right now.
That's pretty doggone good. He started last, moved up to 20th.
Got half of them.
Yep.
The rest of the half field to go.
That's right. And here's the telemetry. Miles per hour.
Let's see how slow he gets. 149 miles per hour was the slowest he got down turns 1 and 2 as he accelerates off the turn 2 down the back straightaway.
We talked about close to 200 miles an hour on some cars. Let's see how close Jeff gets. He got to 193 at the end of the backstretch.
He'll probably run a little bit faster down the front straightaway, all things being equal, if the wind is calm today.
Just ahead of him is the number 7 car that's being driven by Jimmy Hensley that really he owns now and will take over the full-time directorship of next year.
196, 197, 199 miles an hour.
Yep. The drivers were saying that they're close to 200, and by golly, they are. And the interval from the leader back to 19th place, Jeff Bodine, is 22 seconds.
That's about a little over half a lap. The leader is turning at a little over 41 seconds right now. Ricky Rudd. A little more than a half a lap now.
There's my roof camera on top of the motocross board. We see the view that Jeff Bodine sees. And once again, let's see our telemetry down the front straightaway. Let's see if we can get to 200 this time, Bob.
Come on, get up there.
Stand up. Don't back off going into that turn.
Come on,
Back on.
stand on it.
Come on, Jeff. 197.
Yeah, better him than me, I'll tell you that.
Well, we completed 55 laps now, and probably sometime between 5 and 10 laps from now, we'll have to start thinking about the possibility of pit stops, and we want to make sure that we're able to show you all the activity in the pits, so we'll take this break and be right back. ESPN Speed World today at Michigan International Speedway in the Irish Hills of Southern Michigan in the Champion Spark Plug 400 Race 20 of the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup season. It is Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin up front here in this race with 59 laps completed. And here is Wally Dallenbach making a pit stop, and we indicated that the pit stops were scheduled here within the next few laps, and he's among the first.
Changed 4 tires on the Keystone Ford. He's off and running. I'm sure that the Jack Roush crew, sitting right beside of them, will be scrambling around looking at his tire wear, seeing how his tires look, and trying to figure out what to do with Mark Martin's car when he comes in.
Well, just a great run for Wally Dallenbach Jr. at Watkins Glen last weekend. He finished second right behind his teammate and the winner, Mark Martin.
There's a race for 4th, and then we see Dick Trickle. He's driving the pedigree car this week. Last week he was Scott Lagacy in Watkins Glen. This week it's Dick Trickle. See Farmer Jack on the front. That's a grocery store chain up here in Michigan.
Scott Legacy did a good job in this car last week. Finished about 13th, I think it was.
Looks like they're having
Winston Cup race.
Had some trouble there on the right rear of the car, and he was in longer than he wanted to be. Jeff Gordon and Lake Speed are side by side, and here comes Rusty Wallace.
This is the car, the DuPont car that Jeff Gordon is driving is the car that he finished second here in June. They did not intend to use that car this time. He crashed his primary car in practice on Friday. Had to go to this car as a backup.
Rick Wilson brings the STP Pontiac in for a stop, and now it is Gordon and Ernie Irvin. Wally Dallenbach is coming in for a second pit stop, Jerry. No, he's going behind the wall. He's going in the garage area, Jerry.
Bob, what happened was Wally thought he had a tire going down because the car started to jerk and not pull coming off the turn. He came down pit road. They changed all 4 tires. He left pit road and found out it was not a tire problem. Indeed, he had broken an axle. So now the Keystone Beer crew headed back to the garage area where Wally is mistake in the car. They hope to change the axle and get him back in the race. As the car number 39 comes back down pit road, once again the pedigree car comes in. What a difference a week makes for Wally Dallenbach.
Looks like it was a stop and go. The speed limit, as we indicated, is 65 miles an hour, and he's pitted up toward turn number 4, and so he has a long way to go down pit road, and NASCAR assessing a penalty for speeding coming down here.
See, that's one advantage to pit it down there where we see Dick Trickle's car now, because if you break the speed limit, you do it coming in the pits, and they hold you for 15 seconds. And here comes Earnhardt down pit road. This starts the front runners in their pit stops.
Dale Earnhardt relinquishes 4th position to come in for a stop. Jerry Punch, he's headed toward you.
And remember, last time under caution, they changed the left side tires first, and once again, they will do it. They will switch up what they have done for years and years and won 4 championships as being the fastest pit crew in NASCAR. What a difference. Left side tires going on, and now Will Lynn, David Smith, and the crew, Andy Petrie, go around to the right side of the car. As the car number 7 comes down, Jimmy Hensley, here's Huss Strickland, the McDonald's Ford down pit road, as Earnhardt gets 4 tires and is down on the way. Let's check in on John Turner.
Jimmy Hensley is in. It looks like it's going to be right side tires only for the USA bobsled Ford Thunderbird. Paul Andrews and the crew going to work. Right sides are on. They're waiting for the fuel to come out full. Jimmy speeds away down pit road in fine fashion.
He let him up and made some noise coming out, and Jimmy Horton is in the number 32 car.
Brett Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and Jeff Bodine all coming in for scheduled pit stops.
And Brett Bodine has had a great run going as we watch from on the top of the Jeff Bodine car. Brett Bodine, his brother, has had a great run going today.
Jimmy Spencer is in, so is Terry Labate. Let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Michael Waltrip has run out of fuel. The Pennzoil Pontiac, he radioed and said, I think I'm out of gas. When the car came by me, headed toward John Kernan, John, the car was not running at all as the car number 14 comes out. And here's the Meineke Muffler 14, Bobby Allison Racing, Jimmy Spencer. Here's the Motorcraft Ford coming out. And Jimmy Horton just finishing his pit limit on the Active Racing Chevrolet. A number of cars radioing toward the pits, saying they are out of gas, and one included among those is Mark Martin, the Valvoline Ford Thunderbird. As it's radioed in and said, I think I'm out of fuel. The car is sputtering and missing as he will head for the pits, and Steve Mill and the crew waiting on the wall for him to come down pit road. Here is Ricky Rudd, the leader in the Tide Chevrolet. And Mark Martin's car further up pit road, very, very slowly headed toward his pit. Right side tires going on Rudd's Tide Chevrolet as they are pushing Waltrip now. Michael Waltrip, who had run out of fuel earlier. Yes, indeed, the car was not running. The Valvoline Ford was not running as they come down pit road and now going to work on the right and left side. They're fueling Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford. Meanwhile, Rudd is out, having changed all 4 tires. Steve Mill and the crew trying to get left side tires now on Mark Martin's car. The winner from a week ago already having tough luck. They made a major chassis adjustment in the right rear. They're pushing the car, pushing, it fires, and Martin spins the tires and heads away.
Well, that cost him a lot of time. That time he had to coast into the pits, then took a little longer in the pits than he normally would have taken. So Mark Martin is going to have a lot of catching up to do as others come in now. Morgan Shepherd, Blake Speed, and Rusty Wallace all coming at you, Jerry.
Rusty Wallace here getting service from his crew, and they will go to the right side. Meanwhile, Blake Speed's crew also changing right side tires in the Haviland Ford Thunderbird further toward turn 1. Morgan Shepherd also getting service, and John Curtin is there. John?
Jerry, it'll be 4 tire change. Right side's already on. Left side's going on right now. Morgan sitting, waiting patiently. They've already got it full of fuel. Rusty Wallace heads down pit road, leading down. The jack goes down. Morgan Shepherd picks up the tires and heads down pit road. Lake Speed gets out just in front of him.
Just barely. Green flag pit stops being made. Some completed. Bill Elliott is finished. Ken Schrader slides to a stop, Jerry.
Our pole spinner with a new track record at over 2.5 miles per hour over the previous record. The Kodiak Chevrolet crew now going to work. Ken Howes and company having changed right side tires already for Kenny Schrader. Left side tires going on. Car getting full of fuel. Schrader getting very good gas mileage. Car is down the way. 20.2 seconds and he's away.
I tell you what, when all this shakes down, Ricky Rudd is going to have a great lead on the field.
Yes, he is. He's going to have a very, very big lead.
Jeff Gordon is being shown as the leader. He has not made a pit stop yet.
So Dale Earnhardt is a lap down. He's trying his best to get by Jeff Gordon in case the caution flag were to come out. He can make a lap up, and it looks like he's able to accomplish that down the back straightaway.
So Gordon gets 5 bonus points for leading a lap, but needs a pit stop and may be coming in now. The 22 car of Bobby Labonte is in, so is Harry Gant, who's the defending champion of this race. And yes, indeed, Jeff Gordon is down off the banking. John Kernan will call this pit stop by Jeff.
65 miles an hour down pit road. Jeff Gordon located near the exit of pit road. Ray Evernham and the crew awaiting patiently. Look up, 69 laps on the board. They were anticipating coming in on lap 70. Jeff slows it down. He'll flip it over to the left, pull it in. It will be a 4-tire gain as the DuPont Chevrolet crew goes to work. Remember that great run, gas mileage, fuel mileage for this team. A second-place finish back in June. They bump up the spoilers, get a little more downforce on the rear end. The car had been just a little bit loose. They'll also take some shape off the front grille. They swing around to the left side of the car. Tires coming off, new Goodyear Racing Eagle stickers going on. They are full of fuel. Jeff Gordon away in 21.8. Now let's look at the road to Jerry Punch.
And Darrell Waltrip, Western Auto Crew, Barry Dotson and company finishing up the service there. Remember, Waltrip was late for driver introductions because of 24th wedding anniversary. He's spending time with wife Phoebe. Now he gets that pit stop completed and heads back down towards turn 1. 21.8 seconds for DW.
Waltrip goes back out, and other celebrations today. In addition to Stevie and Darrell's 24th wedding anniversary, Rusty Wallace had his 37th birthday yesterday. Robin Pemberton is celebrating his 37th birthday today, and Andy Petrie is 35 today. There's the leader, Ricky Rudd. After these green flag pit stops have been made, Rudd finds himself with a relatively comfortable lead with 71 laps completed, and the average speed of the champion Sparkplug 400, 156.4. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at Michigan International Speedway in the champion Sparkplug 400. It is Ricky Rudd who is leading this race.
There's Rusty Wallace in second. There's a race. There's the third-place car. Mark Martin, Lake Speedy's fourth, and got a pretty good race going on for fifth.
Then Ken Schrader, Morgan Shepherd, and Dale Earnhardt.
Rudd is a little over 10 seconds ahead of Rusty Wallace now. That's about a little over a fourth of a lap.
And that's about how much time that Mark Martin lost when he ran out of fuel on the back straightaway and had to coast into the pits.
Now Mark has gotten back up to third place.
I'm a little confused, but that's nothing new, is it?
What are you confused about?
Well, why would the Earnhardt crew change the way they've been doing things for so many years and change left sides now and then go to the right? I mean, why change a good thing?
Well, they saw that at Watkins Glen last week when a lot of drivers changed the right sides first and then went around and changed the left side. They thought they would try that. I really can't see where it's helped them, Bob. As a matter of fact, I think they slowed down about a second on their pit stop.
Well, Jerry, what have you been able to learn?
Well, there are people who believe that changing the inside tires can be quicker once you get it perfected. Now, it's new to these people. A lot of the crews have only done it a couple of times at the road course, particularly watching this plan a week ago. But also, and maybe more importantly, there's a safety measure. You don't have crew members running beyond the car when other cars are coming down pit road. They're on the inside, protected by the race car between the car and the wall. And actually, it might be a good consideration for NASCAR to think about making everyone change the inside tires first. But those crew members, 7 of them, would be inside between the car and the wall when there's traffic on pit road.
Good point. Yep, I hadn't thought of that, but that is a very good reason. By the way, that car you see there at the bottom of your screen on the apron is Wally Dallenbach. He rejoins the race.
You know, talk about those pit stops. The man who takes the left that's loose on the left side is able to do that while they're changing the right side tires. So it's hard to imagine that they could do it as quickly as they could the other way around. But I don't know. But I certainly agree with that safety part that Jerry talked about. I think that's a very valuable consideration.
Yeah, we saw the Jackman, Rusty Wallace's Jackman last week when he was running out to change the left side first and had to almost leap over the hood of Rusty's car. If they were to change the right side first, in this case, the left side first, then that Jackman doesn't have to run in front of that car. A good point that Jerry Punch brought up.
We have 23 cars on the lead lap with 77 out of 200 laps completed.
Here they're racing.
They're still racing. Here's Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, and Jeff Bodine.
Well, Bobby Labonte is shown in the 16th position. Jarrett in the 17th position. Now Jarrett takes 2 positions away, it looks there right now. So moving up a little bit as Jeff Bodine goes by. Ooh, little shuffling around there.
That's the 89 car, Jim Sauter, the Ford, right directly behind Jeff Bodine.
That's Elliott up on the high side. Bill Elliott, most poles here at Michigan, 7. Most wins, 7. He has the best average starting position at Michigan, 6th, and the best average finishing position out of all of his races, 11. Currently running in 15th spot, and he began this race from the 8th position. Oh, look at him come off that corner.
He started his car wiggling a little bit, able to save it. I tell you what, when talking to the drivers and crew members down in the garage area, they were concerned about the speed here, and they had these cars with 199 miles per hour. We saw going down in turn 1. That's 7 or 8 miles an hour more than we've ever seen before. They're concerned about it.
Yeah, and it's getting up close to the speeds they run at Daytona, really, as far as the top speed is concerned.
And I mentioned it is now the 3rd fastest track in the series, bumping Atlanta from that distinction. Rick Mass last November. As Mark Martin passes Rusty Wallace for 2nd spot.
He's caught Rusty, went by. He's back where he started in 2nd place before he ran out of gas. The only problem, he was a half a second behind. Now he's about 10 seconds behind.
Here's the pit summary from last time. Rudd went in 1st, came out 1st. Martin in 2nd, out 2nd. Shepard in 3rd, out 5th. Earnhardt in 4th, now 7th. And Schrader went in 5th and is now running in 6th position.
And Rudd is still over 10 seconds ahead of Mark Martin. Now, he was more than 10 seconds ahead of Mark Martin. Before, he was 10 seconds ahead of Rusty Wallace, so Martin apparently is gaining a little bit on him. We'll watch that a little bit as Kyle Petty is about to go a lap down.
Lap down. Let me finish what I was about to say. Rick Mass qualified at Atlanta last November at 180.1, and Schrader here at 180.7. So Michigan, the 3rd fastest track in the Winston Cup Series.
And remember, a couple of weeks ago, you and I did a Speedway show, and you asked about what to do at Talladega.
Let me set that up.
Okay, set that up.
I asked Benny how we can keep the cars from flying, as we saw at Talladega and as we have seen at Daytona. And he says the only thing you can do is reduce the angle of the banking at Talladega. He says, quote, you don't see the cars flying at Atlanta and Michigan, do you? Yesterday, Johnny Benson Jr. proved him wrong. Now, what do you have to say?
I really don't know what to do now. I got to go back to the drawing board. I really felt like knocking the banks down would fix it, but obviously I was wrong because Benson flew through the area.
And he's okay. And one other thing we'd like to tell you, Dale Earnhardt, you probably thought Benny 2nd in yesterday's race. He did not. After a post-race inspection, he was declared with an illegal carburetor and dropped to 3rd.
Dropped to 41st.
I'm sorry, 41st. Yeah. There is Mark Martin running in 2nd. Now here from lap 76 through 80, we timed the leader Rudd and 2nd place Martin. And Martin closed down the interval from 11.7 to 10.6. And very consistent laps there by Mark Martin, and pretty consistent by Rudd, too.
We gained 1 second in 5 laps. So in 50 laps, maybe he'll be back up trying to contest for the lead again if he can keep that consistency, and Rudd will keep running the speed he's running. And here we go, Lake Speed trying to take over that 3rd spot, and we've got a caution flag.
And we have debris on the backstretch. This is our 3rd caution of the day and 2nd for debris. There was the last lap speed, 172.25. That's about 8 miles and 8.5 miles an hour slower, but now they do reduce speed under this caution.
I'll tell you, a lot of drivers welcome this caution because they had to make those green flag pit stops. Didn't have time to make a lot of adjustments on the cars. There's some of them that were fighting them out there, so they welcome the opportunity to make a pit stop during caution and can make adjustments to the cars. Besides that, to catch up to Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, right. That's the biggest thing that brought up to Ricky Rudd.
The 39 car of Dick Trickle, we will tell you, has gone to the garage area while we watch the pace car slow down the field with Rudd right behind and Hutt Strickland.
Yeah, Hutt and Kyle Petty, we saw them go a lap down not too long ago, so a tough break for them. that they'd gone that lap down, and caution didn't come out a little bit earlier.
The top 10 now, after 84 laps, are Rudd, Martin, Wallace, Speed, Shepard, Schrader, Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Irvin, and Rick Mast. Field out in turn number 3.
Tell you what, Rick Mast doing a pretty good job with his sore neck out there.
No kidding.
It really is.
Well, he's running 10th turn.
Yeah, we'd seen him earlier in a big pack of cars back there, and he just went right on through that pack of cars and drove away from them. They good green flag pit stop and moved up into the top 10.
Right now, remember that top 10 that I just gave you, because here they come for pit stops, and we'll see how they shake out after their stops. Everybody on the lead lap coming down. Jerry Punch is down there.
We're going to stack them 3 deep for you, folks. 3 pit stops you're going to watch on your television screen. Top of the screen, Ricky Rudd, the leader, car number 5. Middle is the Valvoline Ford in car number 6. And the 28 car, Blake Speed, the Haviland Ford. Right side tires for the car number 28. Likewise, they've already completed right side tires on Ricky Rudd. And they're finishing up the right side, now going to the left side on the car number 6. Left side now, the car number 28. Rudd is down and away. And the car number 6 is down and away. As Lake Speed getting his service completed. They had to back up because they had a hose. The car was up on the hose. And now on the left side up there. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, Lake thought he was taking right side tires only. He started to go, only they had already jacked up the left side. The lug nuts were already off. They stopped him really quick. Joey Knuckles was coming around, and he ran over the air hose. He got stuck on the air hose. He had to sit there, tried to back up the car. They had the left side up on the jack. They had to let it back down. He had to back it up. Finally, after a long time in here, Lake Speed leaves with 4 new tires.
So a lot of track position lost there by Lake Speed, as the caution remains out at the Brooklyn, Michigan International Speedway. Here's a replay now of Lake's pit stop.
Jack goes down. He starts to go. He's sitting on the hose. So they go ahead and change the left side. No, they decide to back it up. Now they've got to jack it up and change the tires because the lug nuts are off.
Valuable time lost, and he will come back on pit road this lap. Back with more live coverage from the Champion Spark Plug 400 in a moment. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Pontiac and your nearby Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Jeff Gordon has put himself up front and will be the leader when they come down. The rookie points reflect his lead in the standings. Bobby Labonte with 171 in second, and Kenny Wallace and P.J. Jones, who got a late start in the rookie battle, is 4th right now.
And Todd Bodine, I think his intentions are to run the remainder of the year. Don't you think so, Ned?
Yeah, that's the plans, that he would run the balance of the year, which would, if he hasn't declared himself a rookie this year, he just simply would never run for Rookie of the Year, because running the balance of the season would disqualify him. He would run too many races to be eligible for a Rookie of the Year next year. Jerry Punch?
I asked the folks this morning of the Max Race Cards who run the Rookie of the Year program with NASCAR, or actually sponsor the Rookie of the Year program, and they told me that indeed Todd Bodine had declared he'll only be able to run 12 races, and you get judged on your best 15 starts, so he may not have a shot in sheer numbers, but if he's impressive and can win a couple short tracks possibly, he could pull it off.
Now let's take a look at the pit stop summary. Ricky Rudd in first, comes out in second position. Mark Martin second to 4th. Rusty stays in 3rd. Lake Speed, look at the loss that he had. 4th place in, 14th out, and Morgan Shepherd in 5th, out in 5th position. John has a comment on the leader of the race, Jeff Gordon.
When you saw everyone else take on 4 tires, Ray Evernham decided they'd gamble, take on right side tires only, and get that car to the front. Remember, he led a couple of laps earlier because of gas mileage. Now they have him up front, and we'll see if he can hold back his teammate Ricky Rudd.
This is the 9th race that Jeff Gordon has led at least 1 lap. They head for turn number 1. He still is in the lead. Ricky Rudd and Rusty Wallace close in.
You know what? Rudd just didn't close up on the rear bumper, did he? As Mark Martin pulls on the outside of Rusty Wallace, trying to take, what is that, 3rd place away?
we're just going to watch this.
Teammate Jeff Gordon coming off with a fourth corner into the trioval. Rudd goes way low on the track, gets that white line, and let's see if he can. Yes, he does. There's the average speed, 149.8, and the race record is 125.4.
Wow, and we've had, what, 3 caution flags so far? And still averaging 150 miles per hour. What are we going to talk about that? We've got to fill the end of the show here.
Let those guys talk about that fast speed they've been running, I guess.
The cars on the move are Rick Mast in 1 and Ernie Irvin in 4. Now here's Martin alongside Jeff Gordon for second position. Racing with an impressive performance. Remember, they finished 1-2 here in June, and at the moment they're 1-2, maybe 1-3 at times, Jerry.
And Bob, last lap when Ricky Rudd came all the way to the bottom of the racetrack and passed Jeff Gordon, and then slid right back up in front of him by about 6 inches. Rick Hendrick standing beside him. His knees buckled. He went down to the ground on both knees, put his face in his hands, and shook his hands and said, man, my race team could have gone away there in a heartbeat. And then he had a big smile. He's going to be liking it, but these guys are out there to each other in their own race car to win the race.
I think I would be sweating a two down there. There he is.
There's Rick Hendrick. I was told he had to get up at 5 o'clock this morning to fly up here to watch his team's race. And here goes Mark Martin trying to take the lead. If he can, this caution flag would really be a break.
He was all over the track coming off the corner, but he gets it straightened out, and down the backstretch, he pulls ahead of Rudd, but Ricky maintains his position, now moves back ahead of Mark.
All right, Martin will try it again.
Here comes Morgan Shepherd creeping up on him.
That's right, while these cars are racing, the guys behind them able to catch them. And we can see who Jeff Gordon's going to go with. That's no surprise, is it?
No, he's going with his buddy, teammate, Ricky Rudd, pushes him right back out into the lead.
By the way, the third member of this team, Ken Schrader, is running 7th, and Morgan Shepherd slides up the racetrack and comes very close to Jeff Gordon as they go down the backstretch.
It looked like Morgan wasn't going with anybody. He was going to try to work for himself in that little group of cars there.
Rudd, Martin, Shepherd, and Gordon. I don't think we mentioned that Jeff Gordon crashed in practice on Friday. This is his backup car.
I told him all that about
I don't like to listen to you anymore.
Sometimes I'm long information.
We're near the halfway point of this race.
And we've got a blown engine down in turn 1. Jimmy Horton. Remember down in Talladega about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that turbo flippy? And Morgan Shepherd takes over 3rd place.
Morgan Shepherd is 3rd. 2nd place belongs to Mark Martin as Ricky Rudd continues to lead the champion Spark Plug 400. Still a great battle up front here in Michigan as Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd battle for the lead. Rudd once again goes to the inside in the 2nd turn, but Rudd has the better momentum up high. They come off the corner down the backstretch, and now Rudd to the inside, and Martin looks outside, but even that didn't work. Rick Mast, who we mentioned a few minutes ago is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, has come in. He's on his way back, and Jerry knows why.
Bob, unscheduled stop for a flat right front tire for the Skoll efforts for Rick Mast, the Richard Jackson car. He heads back to turn 1. Tough break. They will certainly not scheduled for another pit stop for about 30 laps. And now he pulls up in front of the leaders as they head for turn 1.
He was in 8th spot, and look at this 3 abreast racing. That is Earnhardt, Schrader, and Wallace.
Schrader takes the spot away. He's the guy going forward. Rusty Wallace, the guy going backwards right now. That's for 5th spot.
Yep, moves into 5th. Earnhardt is 6th. Wallace 7th.
Jeff Gordon has now moved up to 8th. There's the side battle for 9th between Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvin.
There's Rick Mast. They thought the right front tire was the problem. Evidently, that was not the problem because he is still off the pace.
It is 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and for those of you just joining us, welcome to Michigan International Speedway. We're right exactly, well, 1 lap past the halfway mark. 101 laps have been completed, and the leader at the moment is Ricky Rudd. Mark Martin is 2nd. We've had a great race so far. Here is Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt still going at it.
They're racing for 6th place.
There is Rudd and Martin. Jerry, Rick Mast back in again. What's the problem?
Bob, last time he came in, radioed, he thinks he had a right front tire going down. They changed the right side tires. He went back at it. As Benny Parsons mentioned, did not come up to speed. The vibration that he thought was a right front tire was still there. He came back down pit road and changed left side tires. Now he's pulled away, and we'll see if possibly that may have fixed the problem.
He gathers up some speed down the backstretch as we continue to watch this battle for 6th position, and the caution is out once again. And again, we don't see any obvious reason for it. It is again debris on the racetrack. There is metal on the track in turn number 2. So the 4th caution comes out. 3 have been for debris on the racetrack, 1 for a spin involving Todd Bodine. The Western Auto race summary. Ricky Rudd has led 82 of the first 100 laps. There are 21 cars on the lead lap, 5 leaders, 9 lead changes, 3 cautions. This is the 4th. 18 laps have been under caution so far. The average is a little over 151 miles an hour. Those that have led a lap so far today and picked up the 5 bonus points include Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvin, Ken Schrader, and Lake Speed. Those out of the race include Rich Bickle, Todd Bodine, and Jimmy Horton. The Mechanic of the Year standings show Andy Petrie from Dale Earnhardt's team on top. Tony Glover from Ernie Irvin's is 2nd. Steve Meal, working for Mark Martin, is 3rd in the standings. Frank Edwards on the 25 Ken Schrader car is 4th, and Buddy Parrott from Rusty Wallace's crew is 5th in the standings for the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year.
I think we want to see some more pit stops, don't you, Bob?
Well, I think so, Benny, especially since we have gone past the halfway mark, and now they would be in a window that many of them could make it with 1 more pit stop after this if it should go green the rest of the way. So I think they definitely will take advantage of this caution to do.
Can they run at this speed? You think they can run 45 laps then?
Yeah, some of them can.
Really?
Some of them, I believe, can.
Wow. Yeah. So that just might be another deal where the gas mileage once again. Be a factor.
Everybody on the lead lap comes in. We're once again going to give you a 3-way split on the screen so you can keep track of the pit stops of 3 different drivers. Jerry Punch has the honors.
Chevrolet on top, that's Ricky Rudd. In the middle of your screen is the Valvoline efforts of Mark Martin and the car number 21, the Cisco car, just pulling into the Wood Brothers pits right now. Right side tires on Morgan Jeffers 21. They have already changed right sides on Mark Martin's car and Ricky Rudd's car. Left side going up on the Tide Chevrolet. Left side of the Valvoline Ford. Looks like the Valvoline Ford is off the jack first. He is down and away. The car sputtered. Car number 21 still in. Rusty Walls. Now Ricky Rudd begins to move. Car number 21 is down off the jack and away, but a great pit stop by Steve Mill of the Valvoline crew to get Mark Martin out first.
Ted Musgrave was the first car out of the pits.
But Ted, isn't he a lap down?
No, he isn't.
No, he isn't. I beg your pardon.
He was
yeah, he was about to go a lap down before that one caution before.
He was in 11th position, but has a great stop, comes out in the lead as Michael Waltrip comes right up on the back bumper of the Pontiac pace car. We will be back with more live coverage from Michigan International Speedway and the Champion Spark Plug 400. Thursday at 7:30, a week from Saturday night, they will be knocking down the walls of Bristol International Speedway in Tennessee. We'll present live coverage of the Bud 500 at 7:30. That's a week from this coming Saturday, August 28th, here on ESPN. A couple of things that you might look for between now and then, however. Benny and I will have a special program from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway come Tuesday to report on the activity there, the practice that they have scheduled tomorrow and Tuesday. Look at the crowd that's gathered here. Boy, it's a nice, hot, sunny, humid day. Everybody is enjoying the action. And, of course, Saturday Night Thunder and the Bassmasters next Saturday night. Well, Jerry Punch, Ricky Rudd was in for another pit stop, and he was in for quite a while. What's the problem?
They raised the hood and put some water in the radiator. One of the crew members said they were going to possibly put some stop leak or liquid glass in the water. I spoke with Gary Dehart, the crew chief, and Rick Hendrick, and said the car apparently has temperature fluctuating up and down. Now, while it was sitting here, there was some water that came out the overflow, but there's no water now coming out on the racetrack as NASCAR has been watching the car very carefully. So they're not really sure exactly what the problem may be. Some speculate it could be a head gasket, possibly a small crack in the blocks. They hope not.
Well, our pit summary will indicate how much he lost. Ricky Rudd came into the pits in first position. He comes out 19th. Mark Martin stays in second. Shepard third to fifth. Gordon from fourth stays there. And Ken Schrader was in fifth and comes out in seventh position. Now, the leader, not reflected on that pit summary, Ted Musgrave.
You know, they talked about Ricky Rudd losing some moisture early in the race. Remember that?
Yeah.
So evidently, he was losing just a little bit of water all race long. Man, oh man, what a tough break for Rudd. We're going racing, Bob, in just a second.
Yes, we are. Pace car pulls in.
Kyle Petty alongside Ted Musgrave. He wants to get a lap back.
And here we go. The green flag is out. Back to racing at Michigan. Well, they're four abreast back there.
Jimmy Spencer down on the inside.
Well, it's not unusual to see him stand out here on this front straightaway for trial. Try to get position going in the turn way.
Musgrave chased by Martin. Rudd is way back there someplace. He's 19th in the standings, but there are lap cars between him and the leader.
There's a lot of cars between him and the leader.
A lot of really fast race cars between him and the leader. Ooh, and man, he hasn't been seeing anything like this all day long. And here's the change for the lead. Mark Martin has not led this race today. He now takes the lead. He comes by the start-finish line and now gets credit for leading.
Mark has led at least one lap in 14 of the 20 races this year and is second only to Dale Earnhardt in laps led. The lap leaders and bonus points.
Rusty Wallace trying to take second away, and Jeff Gordon almost got in the back of Musgrave. Had to go way up the race stuff.
Great battle behind the leader. Two abreast for second and two abreast for fourth.
That's what Mark Martin loves.
Ooh, look at Morgan come on the inside. Make it three abreast.
He backs out, or does he? Yep.
Yep. He said, hey, I got in there a little bit too quick. I better back out and regroup here. Morgan has a big open house next Saturday that he wants to invite everybody to at his shop near Conover, North Carolina.
He's trying it again, 3 abreast, but this time he makes the pass. Goes by Rusty and Jeff Gordon to take over 3rd place.
Shepard strong here, moves to 3rd.
That's it, go forward, he is fast. The Wood brothers have had fast race cars here at the Michigan International Speedway.
Here he goes for 2nd. He's alongside Musgrave.
He's got it.
Jeff pulls up in front.
Jeff Gordon tried to come along, but he couldn't quite muster up enough speed going into that turn. Now he'll come down the inside. Earnhardt comes down on the inside, too, making it 3 abreast off that turn. They take care of the 55 car, Ted Musgrave, and Earnhardt goes up into, what, 3rd?
Looks like he's running 3rd place.
The 89 car of Joe Nemechek has been in the wall. He's
Jim
down.
Sauter.
Jim Sauter, rather. He's down off the banking and on pit road, so we'll have no caution.
And Terry Labate, who had been behind the wall for a while in the Kellogg's Cornflakes Chevrolet, is going back out on the track.
Sauter banged up the rear end of that car.
Real good. They're pushing that car towards the garage here. He's done for the day.
Car's a little shorter than it was earlier today.
We haven't mentioned it. Rick Mast, who we were following there just before the caution came out, has taken the Skoll Classic forward behind the wall. They're working on it right now.
Dale Jarrett behind Ken Schrader and alongside Ted Musgrave.
Looks like Musgrave, those 2 tires are just not working then. They need to change 4.
Yep, it looks that way. They just only took on 2, gave him great track position, but now he's beginning to slip back a little bit.
I think he's in 7th, isn't he, Ned?
Who?
Dale.
Dale Jarrett? Yeah. They just moved him up to 7th. In fact, they had a great pit stop. Criticized those guys sometime earlier in the year when they didn't have good pit stops. They got to commend them. The last time out, they were 19.5 seconds. So,
Well, there is Lake Speed running alongside Ricky Rudd.
Kyle Petty moves over to give those guys a lot of room as they go by him down in turn 1. Well, they tried to.
didn't give him enough room. Not quite right there. Ricky decided that's not smart to stick the nose up in there.
I thought Kyle was moving over. He was just going down to the bottom like we've seen so many guys. Now he got out of the way.
And he really got out of the way that time. And Kyle will do that. He is very, very good about moving over, letting the leaders go. And when he's up there running for the lead, he expects the same courtesy. Sometimes don't get it, but nevertheless, he does it when they come to him.
Rudd and Lake Speed, I believe, are in a battle for 12th position here. We'll check that out on down the field summary. Bernie Irvin is 10th. Yeah, that's the battle for 12th. Speed and Rudd. That Rudd has right now, as you can see.
Some good racing going on back in that group of cars.
You see there that Harry Gant, the defending champion of this race, is a lap down. He, too, won it last year on fuel mileage.
It'll be tough for him to do today, though.
Yep.
Especially being a lap down.
The 5-car, we understand, continues to dump fluid on the racetrack. Jerry told us that they have a radiator problem that is causing some water to leak onto the track, and apparently is still doing so. Their effort to seal it up has not worked, apparently. So 114 laps now completed out of 200. It's still Mark Martin leading this race here at Michigan International Speedway. Back in a moment. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth right here in the Champions Spark Plug 400 from Michigan International. It's Earnhardt on the high side, Jeff Gordon below him, then Rusty Wallace and Ken Schrader.
They have been going at it for several laps.
Ricky Rudd has come into the pit area. Did he go behind the wall?
No, he went back on the racetrack. He stayed in the pits a couple of laps as they tried to put some water in the car. They did manage to get some water in it. He did go back on the racetrack, but I'm sure he'll have to run at a reduced speed if he's going to finish the race.
So Rudd will not make it 2 in a row here at Michigan.
Now, he lost a couple of laps in the pits, and as Benny said, he probably have to go slow out on the track.
There once again are the teammates, the Hendrick teammates running together, Gordon and Schrader.
Comes Dale Jarrett.
Yeah.
Trying to get up in this race. Michael Waltrip, the Benzoil project, is a lap down.
Yeah, he ran out of gas, and
That's right.
And that's what got Michael the lap down.
He's 20 20th. Michael Waltrip is. But running with those in the top 10.
Yeah, his car has run good all along, but little miscue running out of gas is costing.
And then they had to push the car. It wasn't just a matter of being able to start it up and drive it away. They had to push the car to get it started. And Earnhardt, his car is hanging in there, currently running third spot. Rusty Wallace is fourth, Jeff Gordon is fifth, and Kenny Schrader sixth.
Dale Earnhardt has not led a lap today. Currently the driver with the most leader lap bonus points with 120. He has led the most laps in 9 of the first 20 races of 1993.
This is not a race for the lead. Mark Martin is a leader, and Morgan Shepherd is in second place, but this is by far the best race on the racetrack.
Boy, it has not been a particularly pleasing weekend there for the car on the bottom side of the racetrack. That's Terry Labonte crashing during his qualifying run, not able to get into the race legally yesterday. He took a provisional. Here is the interval between first and third, Martin and Earnhardt. It's 2.5 seconds.
And no, a driver hasn't been named that 14 car yet, I don't believe, but we talked about the Kellogg's car, the 14 car.
We believe that John Andretti will be driving the car, however, at Indianapolis tomorrow and Tuesday. We'll see. There is Lake Speed and Sterling Marlin, who you remember quite a while ago were mired back in a big pack of cars, but now they've worked themselves out and are running pretty well.
This is for 10th spot.
I think they might be gaining on that pack of cars we were watching there a little bit ago, but they're still pretty far back behind them. But once they got through some of the other traffic, they are able to pick up a little bit.
And Ernie Irvan directly in front of the 28 car. There he is. We see Ernie in the shot. Looks like that Lake Speed might be gaining on Ernie Irvan.
Yeah, it does. Look like he's closing in a little bit. Ernie Irvan started this race in 24th position. There's Lake Speed, who had problems on a pit stop.
We see Ernie running way high on the racetrack.
He has searched around, Benny. I've been watching him a little bit, and don't think that car is really set up to the best as Ricky Rudd comes back in the pits. It just is not handling. He searched for a place to go on the racetrack that it'll feel good, but I don't think he found one yet. Still running good, don't get me wrong, but it still is not like we normally see that 4 car.
And I was talking to Tony Glover yesterday. We saw that graphically this car started 24th. Ernie Irvan, I'm talking about Kodak Film Chevrolet. And I think Tony said that was the 3rd time that they'd failed to qualify in the top 20, as we see Jeff Gordon trying to get by Rusty Wallace and not able to make the pass. And Ricky Rudd, as we said, he's back in the pits, and Jerry punches down there. Jerry.
Well, they've been trying to bleed some air out of the radiator system, and now Eddie Dickerson and the crew have gone beside him to the valvoline team. Steve Neal offering them a radiator cap with 29 to 31 pounds pressure on it. So they're putting a different radiator cap on. They have tried to fill it up with water and stop leaks. The temperature continues to fluctuate between 210 and 230 degrees. So they have him back on pit road. They're adding more water. They've changed the radiator cap. They don't see any water at all coming out of the left side exhaust pipe. But it is pushing some water out of the car in the overflow going around the racetrack. And so they continue to try to work here and solve the problem. What a tough break for the Tide team.
Battle for 9th here. Lake Speed on the bottom and Ernie Irvan on the top.
Lake Speed is coming back up through the pack. He had a lot of iron to pass after he came out of the pits late or had to go back in. But he's working his way back up there. Couldn't quite make that pass, though.
Looks like he's a little bit faster than Ernie Irvan right now, but it looks like his car needs to run where Ernie is running.
Yeah.
And it makes it very difficult to pass.
Yep, he needs the whole racetrack. Even though this track is very, very wide, we talked about that so many times, there's still one spot around this racetrack that you can go faster than you can anywhere else. And he needs all of that space. Here he comes again.
Started second, currently 10th. His highest was the lead on lap 20. His lowest position so far has been 20th on the 90th lap. And there his position, as you can see, has changed now to 9th.
And he does take that spot away.
Ted Musgrave would be the next car that he would zero in on.
There's the leader, Mark Martin. And you can see why that we were looking at the other races, because he is a good lead over the 21 car.
Yeah, he is all by himself with a comfortable lead on second place, Morgan Shepherd. Back with more from Michigan after this. Mark Martin enjoys about a 1.5-second interval on Morgan Shepherd. Dale Earnhardt is 3.2 seconds behind. Wallace 3.5, and Jeff Gordon is 3.7 seconds. So some good racing back there for third through fifth as Mark Martin sets the pace here. But again, the thing that we're thinking about is he did this in June, and it ended up that he had to make a pit stop late in the going, and we wonder if that could be the situation here again this afternoon.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I bet those guys in the pits know something about it.
John Kernan, what have you been able to learn about all this?
Well, it does look like Mark Martin will have to make 2 more stops. And talking with Jerry Punch, who's down in his pit, says he'll have to pit about lap 150 and about 196, 195 with about 4 or 5 laps to go. Now, the Wood brothers, they are getting about 50.5 laps, so they will have no problem. They'll pit anywhere between lap 153, 155, and they'll be able to go the rest of the way. Jeff Gordon, 51 laps. They pitted on lap 105, so no problem for Gordon or Shepherd to go the rest of the way on just 1 more fuel stop. So these guys down here got their fingers crossed that we don't see any yellow flags between now and the end of the race.
Yeah, that, of course, will be a very important factor, whether or not there are any more caution flags. If so, it's going to throw the whole thing out the window. But, again, looks like it could come down to who has the best fuel mileage.
And we're going to be able to lose 2 races and 1 racetrack in a year. By the way, as we see Mark Martin go by, Steve Neal, the crew chief on Mark Martin's car, I did a radio show with him Wednesday, and his son Wednesday was involved in a, wave runner?
That jet ski.
Jet ski.
Probably more.
He's 11 years old, Tyler, and either his ski ran over him or another ski ran over him, and I told him he broke his back, and
yeah, he's quite banged up, and
he banged his head up, either a concussion, maybe a fracture, but at least a concussion. And Tyler has to be bedridden for about 4 or 5 days. He's got to stay in bed, Tyler, watch the race, get you some movies, rent some movies, relax. It'll be okay.
Mind your mommy, your doctors, and your nurses, right?
Take it easy.
Jeff Bodine has been, well, losing positions in the last few laps.
Maybe sitting down on the inside of the racetrack.
Let's see where he comes up. He's 13th right now.
He's not taking a very aggressive posture going around the racetrack. He's moved over on the inside.
Well, there he moved back up on the outside. They followed Bill Elliott into that turn. Jimmy Spencer went down the inside of him, but Spencer couldn't quite make the pass. As we look out Jeff's windshield there.
Napa Field summary. The Bodines running in 13th and 15th.
You see, 19 cars are still in the lead lap.
Yeah, so he is taking a more aggressive position now. Watch the cars, it bounces on the bumps up in turns 3 and 4 here in Michigan. And here he comes directed towards us.
Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace are 3rd and 4th.
And they're gaining on the second place car, Morgan Shepherd.
Yes,
slowly.
Yep, they sure are. Mark Martin seems to be pulling away a little bit from Morgan Shepherd, but Earnhardt and Rusty are gaining.
Bobby almost crashes.
A couple of cars go by on the inside and almost crashed again.
Man. He's shown 15th, but I think he lost a couple of spots there when he got a little loose.
Let's watch him as he goes down in turn 1. There's Jeff Bodine on the outside of him, and watch as Labonte just gets the car out of shape, almost crashes.
Oh, my gosh.
Man, a great job of saving a race car by Bobby Labonte.
That wasn't a rookie save. That was the save of a veteran.
Sure was.
Great job.
Great. Let's take a look at what we project to be the next pit stops for Mark Martin, who was last in on lap 104. We predict he'll be in at 151. Shepard also was in on lap 4. We predict 152. And Earnhardt at 149. Jerry Punch is with Ricky Rudd.
Well, Ricky, you put it behind the wall, but you shook Rick Hendrick's hand with a big smile. It was a rocket while it lasted.
Well, it's awful good to get in a good race car. We haven't had many cars like this year. It's just a shame it was puking water out. I don't know what happened to it, but it drove good in the corners. It ran good down the straightaway, and it was too good to be true. Things were so good, and I could run about 95% is what I could really do and keep the guys behind me. So it's very rare to get a car like that.
Any idea what the problem actually was inside the engine?
Well, I think it's something like a cracked cylinder head. Could be a head gasket. They could fill it with water, and it lasts about 5 or 10 laps to start blowing all the water out again. So whatever's happening is pressurizing the water system through the motor. So head gasket and a cracked head.
Tough break for Ricky Rudd, who dominated the first half of this race here today.
Thank you, Jerry. Here is now Earnhardt and Martin both catching up to Morgan Shepard. Looking out Morgan, the card, Ford, Earnhardt, and Wallace. Dale will go to the inside in the third and fourth turns.
Whoa, boy, that was close. And I tell you what, Rusty Wallace is right directly on Earnhardt's rear bumper, just inches away he was going off that corner.
There's Rusty right nailed to his bumper.
And Morgan Shepard is running an entirely different line down in 1 and 2 other than and Earnhardt gets a good run on the high side, now pulls alongside Morgan Shepard.
Oh, I think they touched.
Just a little bit.
Earnhardt goes to second, or does he?
No, here comes Morgan back because Earnhardt needs to be up there, and he's going up there.
Mark Martin leads. Now it's Earnhardt second, Shepard third, and Rusty Wallace fourth. Mark has led 30 of the 137 laps. Dale Earnhardt just lost a lap. Just as he took second position, the car slowed coming off of corner number 2. He had a flat tire, came in and changed it, rejoined close to where he was running, but a lap down. Jerry Punch was there when Dale came in for the stop.
Had no choice at all, Bob. The right front tire completely flat. Down on the inner liner, they have pulled the tire off as it was possibly rubbing a fender. As now caution is being shown to the field.
Hut Strickland, Jerry, right here in the tri-oval. Rick Wilson also involved. Strickland's car is in the grass just off of corner number 4 in the tri-oval, and he has made contact with the wall because the left front of it is banged up pretty good.
Well, that's a tough break for Dale Earnhardt. The others were going to have to stop within the next 8 to 10 laps for regular pit stops. Now they'll get to do it under caution. He's a lap down.
Now the question is, can any car here run 55 laps?
That's about what they'll have to run once the green comes back out.
Yeah. And this is really a shame because McDonald's, a lot of McDonald's people here today watching Hut Strickland run.
Hut was running in 27th position, a lap down. The spotters who are perched over here to our left up on top of the main grandstand are extremely important to the drivers. You just can't imagine how much contact there is and how much conversation between the spotter and the driver, making sure the driver knows exactly what's going on the racetrack.
They're running over to Hut Strickland, but he's moving around. It looks he has the wind on that down. And I think that's the signal. I think the NASCAR has told the drivers, if you're okay, put the wind on that down, we'll know that. And we see Hut bouncing out of the car.
Let's take a look at the schedule coming up here on ESPN the rest of the afternoon and evening at 3:30, Surfer Magazine. 4 o'clock, the Autolite Nationals NHRA drag race. The Thriftway APP tennis at 5 o'clock. Sports Center at 7. Baseball tonight at 7:20. Join us for Major League Baseball and the Atlanta Braves and Cincinnati Reds from Riverfront at 8, and then Sports Center at 11. Once again, those on the lead lap come in for stops. It's lap 142. Mark Martin leads them down. Jerry Punch.
And we'll stack them 3 deep again for you. Ford, Pontiac, and Chevrolet. Mark Martin on top, middle of your screen is Rusty Wallace, and the rookie, Jeff Gordon, getting right side tires on his DuPont Chevrolet. Now left side tires on Mark Martin, Valvoline Ford. Likewise, working on the left side of the other cars. Left side on car number 24. Martin's car is down and away. Here's Rusty Wallace, and Wallace and Martin almost run together down pit road, and they are still door to door, headed back for turn one as a drag race down toward the end of pit road.
I hope neither one exceeded the speed limit because they were racing coming down.
I tell you what, can you imagine racing with a speed limit? And that's those guys, they looked like they were trying so hard not to break the speed limit. Let's watch this. The cars will start moving. Here comes Rusty on the outside of the black car, and Martin almost runs into him. Rusty gets off the gas, and now they're racing and can't break the speed limit. And we can see that Mark Martin beat Rusty to the line by just a little bit.
Rusty comes out. Ahead of him, Mark Martin is just pulling out, and look, takes him over to the left a little bit. Now, the line down here at the end of the pit road is the determining factor. Whoever leads across that line is the person that gets to go to the lead on the racetrack. Well, we are under caution now for our 5th time this afternoon, this because of an accident involving Hut Strickland. We'll be right back. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Sometimes it's the seemingly simple devices that can make a difference for a Winston Cup race team. If you'll notice in the window opening beside me, there's mounted a small aluminum box. Now, you won't see this box on race day because it's not allowed, but it's very vital when it comes to testing, given the limited testing time allowed for a Winston Cup team. It's a photoelectric cell receiving unit. You see, in the old days when they tested, they'd go to the racetrack and use stopwatches. There'd be some disagreement as to who had the best time or who was the most accurate time. The driver would run a couple laps, come down and say, how'd I do? And they would tell him, he'd go back out and run a few more laps. Well, now with this system developed by Unipro out of St. Augustine, Florida, all the guesswork is gone. You simply set up a tripod at the start-finish line with a light beam. As the car comes by, this cell picks up the light beam. The driver has a digital readout right in front of him, which tells him exactly to 1/100th of a second what his lap time was. He can change the groove each lap, see his lap time, and know instantly what the quick way around the racetrack could be. Certainly, this little system here helps them maximize their time when it comes to testing.
And speaking of testing, we know that 35 NASCAR Winston Cup teams will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway tomorrow and Tuesday. The question is, how many thousand people are going to be there watching? They're expecting a huge crowd for the test in preparation for the Brickyard 400 next August. Here's Jerry Punch with a report on Mark Martin.
Remember June here at Michigan, what happened with Mark Martin? Well, I just talked to Steve Mill, the crew chief. He said it could be deja vu all over again for them because their calculations tell them that they could make it to lap 191. Just like in June, they would run out with 9 laps to go.
Well, we shall see. Here comes the green flag. Rusty Wallace is at the front of the field, and I would have sworn that Mark led at the line, but apparently not, because Rusty is ahead of him as we get the green flag.
Dale Earnhardt down on the inside trying to get his lap back. There are 18 cars, 17 cars in the lead lap right now. So Earnhardt is running in 18th, but Michael Waltrip is a lap down. He just passed Earnhardt.
Yeah, he did. Dale did not have
his car backing up a little bit.
He didn't get through 1 and 2 well at all, and now he's running better, but he didn't have a very good restart.
Never seen late speed up on the outside of Earnhardt.
All those cars on the inside are a lap down. Now Michael Waltrip pulls up behind the 24 car of Jeff Gordon.
Wallace, Martin, Shepard, and Gordon are your front 4.
Late Speed came out in 5th place on that pit stop. Actually came out 6th. He's passed Ken Schrader now, has moved up to 5th place.
And Earnhardt's car is just not right.
Yeah.
That time he was way out in turn 2. Late Speed has went by, is trying to go by, is going by, and I tell you, his car is just not right. Something wrong with that 3-car.
Speed gets by him now in turn 4.
Race for the lead. Mark Martin goes by and takes the lead away from Rusty Wallace.
And again, he is way down on the bottom side of the track. Ray down by the white line, comes up the track, has the lead, and Morgan Shepherd now battling with Rusty for second, and maybe Shepherd would like to take a shot at running at the front of the pack.
He takes a look there, but let's see what to do to come off the turn. He's staying with him. In fact, gaining a little bit on Martin as they go into turn 3.
How about that? Morgan Shepherd showing some real strength here. He won at Atlanta. He's only won in the 93 season. Martin about half a car length ahead again as they come through the fourth turn. And Martin is going to lead this lap. But Morgan Shepherd in a great run here this afternoon. John Kernan has more.
They have found they've gotten it right. They've been taking bite out of it all day long. It's been tight, but now it looks like they've got it set up for Morgan to drive it and actually challenge Mark Martin. But getting to the fuel mileage thing, they're within a few laps of going the rest of the way. We'll just have to wait and see if they decide to roll the dice that way or play that card, whatever gambling term you want to use in that situation. But they're still figuring things out. 53 green flag laps, maybe.
Close. 4 cars running together. Then we get back to Lake Speed. Here is Earnhardt and Jarrett running together, along with Ted Musgrave and Ken Schrader.
Yeah, Jarrett has just moved around. Ken Schrader taking over the 6th position. Musgrave has moved up in there in that battle as well.
And also Rusty Wallace trying to go by Morgan Shepherd on the outside to take that second spot away.
And look at Jeff Gordon is right in there too. He's just looking for some place to go. He don't know which one to follow.
That's exactly right. And Mark Martin is loving this because it really takes his car 4 or 5 laps to get up to speed where he's faster than the other cars. And these guys are giving him just a little bit of advantage to get his car up to speed. As Morgan Shepherd loses second and third, he goes back to fourth.
GM cars hook up to run second and third, and Morgan is back to fourth. 151 laps, and the average speed 148.0. Speed World welcomes you back to Michigan International Speedway, where Mark Martin has a 7/10 of a second lead on Rusty Wallace. Jeff Gordon is 88/100 of a second behind. Morgan Shepherd is 1.1. Lake Speed is in 5th position, almost 2 seconds behind. And Lake is in some heavy traffic. Here comes Dale Jarrett and Ken Schrader, so Lake is not in 5th position. It is Dale Jarrett who is in 5th.
Ted Musgrave in that group as well, so Lake's got his hands full right now.
Yeah, the car seems to be pushing up a little bit in the turns. They just can't keep it down low. They're just driving right under it.
And Dale Earnhardt, I said a moment ago that he was having a problem. We can see that he's changed his driving style, or the problem, his car is much faster now versus the competition than he was just a couple of laps ago.
Well, while we give a call to Ted Musgrave, let's give a call to Dale Jarrett, who started 27th. And here's how he has performed recently. Lap 115, he was 7th. Stayed there through lap 155 when he moved to 5th spot.
And there's Ted Musgrave.
And look at Ken Schrader taking advantage of the grass with the 2 cars running side by side. Going to move right around Dale Jarrett. Yep. Jarrett just had problems getting around Dale Earnhardt. And here's Ernie Irvin. Looks like he's slowing down.
He was running at 11th spot, and the car is...
Oh, and Schrader spins right in front of Lake Speed, and Lake missed him.
Schrader keeps it up on the wall. I hope nobody else is going to be involved, and I don't think anybody else was. Oh, my goodness.
Well, the gas mileage situation goes by the wayside here.
Yeah, it does. That means that it will not come down to a fuel mileage race. There is the pole sitter for the event, Ken Schrader, who will not win here today and pick up the Unocal bonus money.
He's trying to get his car moving. Let's see. Let's watch this once again. He's on the inside of Earnhardt.
And again, Dale is a lap down.
Dale Earnhardt is a lap down. Looks like maybe the air was just taken off the spoiler and the back end just goes around on him.
Now watch Lake.
Great job of moving down to the inside. Michael Waltrip comes down there out of the way. Jamie Spencer comes by.
Ooh, and Greg Sachs just gets by on the grass. Look at down the grass.
And again, the spotters play a very important part. They were on the radio to their respective prospective drivers back of this crash, guiding them through it, and they did.
There's not a lot of damage to the car, but I think he stalled the motor and it won't start.
There are the spotters that keep track of where their car is on the track at all times. Schrader, meanwhile, continues to sit in the car. It looks like he would like to get the car going again.
Yes, I'm sure he would get back to pits and put on some 4 tires, because we see the right rear tires flat.
Yep.
I'm sure that he may have 4 flat tires right now.
If we saw Russ sitting in down in the grass, it's hard to tell if it's flat or just in the grass there.
We saw Ernie Irvin's car slowing down just a moment ago. I don't know what happened to the Kodak Film Chevrolet, but I'd like to say hello to his wife, Kim, back in Concord, North Carolina, and also a new daughter born on, what, Thursday?
Yep, Jordan Lee was born Leah was born at Charlotte University Medical Center, 5 pounds, 12 ounces. From Bobby Hillen's perspective, see how he gets through this incident involving Ken Schrader.
The spotters tell him, look, we got a problem here. And he nailed the gas and says, let me get through there before he comes back.
And now we see pit stops being made once again. Those on the lead lap come in, including Martin and Rusty. Here is Jerry in Mark Martin's pit.
And right side tires going on to Mark Martin. Boy, you talk about someone taking a sigh of relief. This team really wanted to see that yellow flag come out. As you see, Rusty Wallace's crew now going to work on that Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. Left side tires on Mark Martin's car. Here is Wallace, and Martin once again will watch the drag race. And now Martin tries to block going down pit road. And Jeff Gordon looks to have a great pit stop. He will be out first, headed back to turn 1. We might also mention that Larry McClure just walked by, guys, and told me that apparently Ernie Irvin said the engine let go. So they have taken the Kodak Chevrolet to the garage area. We are under caution here at Michigan International Speedway. This 24th annual Champion Sparkplug 400. More from Michigan after this. Stay with us.
ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinking Bush Light. Bush, the official beer of NASCAR. By Country Time Lemonade Flavor Drink Mix with a taste of good old-fashioned lemonade. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. Under caution here at Michigan International, the top 5 at the end of 159 laps. Jeff Gordon, Brett Bodine, Bobby Labonte, Ted Musgrave, and Mark Martin. The green flag has just come out on lap 162 to restart the Champion Sparkplug 400. That is Jeff Gordon up front. Dale Earnhardt is there also, but he's just trying to get his lap back. Well, Jerry Punch was a prophet today in the open of the show when he talked about the rookies and how that, well, they had qualified. They're also doing well in the race. Rookie Jeff Gordon leads. Bobby Labonte, another rookie, runs third. And look at the heavy traffic that Mark Martin, Jimmy Spencer, Dave Marcus, and others are in, including Rusty Wallace and Dale Jarrett, and Lake Speed, and Mark Martin.
Lake Speed way down to the bottom.
4 wide. Pit stop summary, Mark Martin in first, out 5th. Wallace from 2nd to 6th. Gordon moved up 2 from 3rd to 1st. Shepard from 4th to 8th, and Dale Jarrett from 5th to 7th. That was the restart order, and they are shuffling as we speak.
Some of those cars only took on a couple of tires like Brett Bodine and the car number 55, Ted Musgrave. And so they got made real fast pit stops.
And Mark Martin made a great move to go on the inside. Brady almost going to take inside. As we can see, Dale Earnhardt has passed the leader. And there again, it's in the wall hard as he came off turn 4.
So Dale Earnhardt will get back in the lead lap here if he can stay in front of Jeff Gordon until they get back around.
No caution yet.
Yeah, there is.
Caution's out. Yeah, the caution's out.
Harry Gant making contact with the wall coming out of turn number 4 here in the Tri-Oval. And now the drivers have not seen the caution flag yet. But when they do, we will see Dale Earnhardt maybe get a lap back. And a lot of shuffling still going on at the back.
Yeah, they are
racing back to the line.
They aren't supposed to do that. I mean, it's a gentleman's thing. But the only person supposed to race back to the line is Jeff Gordon, and he's racing Earnhardt, but he doesn't beat him.
Right.
So Earnhardt did get his lap back.
Man, oh man.
And there is Harry Gant the reason for the caution.
And there's going to be debris all around the racetrack, so I think this caution flag certainly was warranted.
I tell you, this is a huge break for Dale Earnhardt. He was about to lose a bunch of points on a lot of people there today, but now he'll get back around and be able to pick off some positions at least, whether he can get back to the front or not. Time will tell.
Gant won this race a year ago.
Who's going to pit, man?
I don't know. I can't imagine that many of them would unless someone didn't feel his car was going too well.
Well, like Brett Bodine. You know, Brett Bodine.
Remember the most recent crash before this one involving Ken Schrader? This is how it looked and sounded from our speed shot here in the Tri-Oval. And here's Harry Gant. Oh, and a fire breaks out here on Gant's car. What, the rubber's on fire? Well, he pulls it behind the wall. Here's Jerry Punch with the word on Ken Schrader.
Bob, they brought Kenny Schrader's Kodiak Chevy back behind the wall. They changed all 4 tires on it, and then the car would not fire. They pushed the car out on pit road, pushed it down pit road, and got it to fire. Now he's back on the racetrack, but he's lost some laps.
There you can see Dale Earnhardt catching up and getting that lap back. 165 laps are completed. It's still Jeff Gordon up front. We should be going back green in just a moment. Pace car as it comes down pit road, leaving the field on the racetrack for the restart. It is 3 o'clock Eastern time. Again, welcome to Michigan International Speedway. 166 laps complete. We're on lap 167. The green comes back out, and Jeff Gordon is still up front.
Nobody made a pit stop in second seat. Derek Cope in the Bojangles Ford.
And here goes Mark Martin trying to get on the inside of Gordon. Can he make it? Did not make it that lap.
Michael Waltrip is third in line, but he's a lap down. Would like to get a lap back. And John Kernan has a comment on the man who is leading at the moment, Jeff Gordon, but Mark Martin again challenges.
Well, the best way to find Jeff because Jeff is radioed in toward Ray Abraham. They took on only right-side tires. The car is pushing really, really bad. It wants to shoot up toward the wall. Every time he goes into the turn, and Mark Martin leads him as he gets to the heading into turn 1.
Yes, indeed. Mark Martin goes back to the front now.
Boy, this is really a break for Mark Martin because if Jeff Gordon's car is pushing, all the good cars behind that have a chance to run with Mark Martin, they've got to get by Jeff Gordon. And taking that 2 or 3 laps to do that will give Mark Martin a tremendous advantage as Dale Jarrett coming up in the Interstate Battery Chevrolet, 3rd spot.
Great run for Dale Jarrett. There is Bobby Labonte racing with Jimmy Spencer, and Rusty Wallace is right behind Spencer.
Bobby Labonte was 3rd on the restart here. Jarrett got by on the first lap. And Bobby was one of those that only took on 2 tires also, so that might be hurting him a little bit in the turns.
I think we showed you earlier the race record 120-something. It's actually 157, and an average speed right now in our race is 144.6.
Sterling Marlin, Bobby Hillen, Jimmy Hensley. Was that Jeff Bodine on the bottom side of the racetrack?
Yeah, it's Brett Bodine on the outside of the racetrack, so some good, hard racing here. There's Brett in the green, number 26, the Quaker State Ford.
Oh, DW's in that bunch, too.
Yeah, he is. And here's Earnhardt coming up in there, too. Earnhardt was in 16th place when he restarted. 16 cars are still in the lead lap.
Fighting with Jeff Bodine there for a moment as Morgan Shepherd and Rusty Wallace challenge each other for position here in the Tri-Oval.
This is Morgan trying to take the spot away from Rusty.
They're up there in the point standings. Rusty 3rd, Morgan 5th coming into this race.
There's another Fram Field summary for you.
Is there enough room to come up the racetrack? No, there isn't. And meanwhile, pinch it down.
And a car on the wall up in turn 4.
Rick Wilson.
It's Rick Wilson, yes. incidents today, with the exception of Todd Bodine.
If he keeps that car, if he keeps the engine running and can drive off, there might not be a caution flag.
But the caution is out.
Yep.
Well, they got it started. Maybe there's some debris up there or something.
Huge break for Dale Earnhardt because he's able to, he's passed 5 or 6 cars. Now he'll be able to pull up on the back bumper of the cars in front of him.
Yeah, the front 3 cars have moved away pretty good from the 4th, 5th, and 6th place cars. And there's Michael Walter trying to get a lap back, but it's not going to be able to do it.
Again, this is the race back to the caution.
Now will anybody make a pit stop, put on fresh tires?
Well, those that are back towards the back in the lead lap might pay them to do so.
Yeah, they don't have much to lose, so they might as well come in and get fresh tires.
I really don't believe the front runners will. Although if Mark Martin comes in, you'll see everybody else following right down pit road.
Rick Wilson, the STP Pontiac, has pulled his car down pit road into the pits. He went a lap down. Bobby Loomis, the crew chief, talking to Rick.
26th position.
This is the Alec Myers fourth Thunderbird, driven by Bobby Hill. Looks like the door's bashing on there.
Here's a replay of the crash.
Yeah,
got high himself.
Got the loose stuff up there and around him.
And boy, there were 3 cars side by side right behind him. Of course, they singled out in a hurry and were able to get under him and go on by without any damage. And he slips down to the inside of the track, and you see other cars go by on the outside then.
And Rick goes back out onto the racetrack as we look at the field come off of corner number 4 to see if anyone comes in for a pit stop, and no, none at least running up front. We will continue our live coverage from Michigan after these messages. We are under our 8th caution of the day. The record is 9. So many times the Winston Cup drivers have the spotlight, but truck drivers on the Winston Cup Series had their day in the sun again today. Here's Benny.
For the 2nd year in a row, Mayflower Transit is conducting a competition among Winston Cup truck drivers to find out who's the better of the truck drivers. Joining me is one of our remote senior engineers who hauls our show from one location to the other, Billy Dillahay. Billy, you're a truck driver. Is this tough or is this fairly easy?
Well, it's pretty tough, Benny. It takes a while to get used to doing this. Guy started into a blindside back right there, and he got a cone or two, but basically they're doing a real good job. It's something that's not easy to do. It just takes a lot of practice and a lot of years of doing it.
What kind of weight are we looking at this tractor and trailer?
80,000 pounds. That's 40 tons.
So that cone ought to be flattened out by the time these guys get over that. What is the toughest thing about driving a truck?
Well, basically, Benny, just paying attention to what you're doing, looking way down the road, knowing what's going to happen, anticipating it, realizing you got a lot of weight you have to stop, and realizing your load's worth a lot of money. Not that the average car is not worth some money, but these guys have to do a real good job, and most of them do.
As we see the truck weaving through these cones, how far apart are the cones?
I'd say they're about 90 feet. Looking at them here, Benny, they could be 100, but no more than 100.
And the truck is what, 60, 70 feet long?
That truck there is probably right at 75 anyway, maybe 80.
So it only gives him 25 feet to spare.
Yes, sir. He come out of the turn right there, and now he's going into a blindside back, and once he gets around past these cones, he's got a left side back, and he's obviously turning the wheel the opposite direction of what he wants the trailer to go. So it's not an easy thing. It just takes practice like anything, just like announcing, Benny.
Does gray hair directly relate to ability to do this?
No.
It doesn't do that.
But is this Grumpy here? I believe it is, isn't it?
This is Mike Culberson, the driver of the Meineke Muffler truck. And he's back. It looks like he's missed all the cones.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. I think he's got a little more gray hair than I do, so he's going to make it, I think.
He backs, and he goes through all the cones. And you've got to look. You've got to use your mirrors. You can't look out the window, correct?
That's right. Benny, remember, gray hair is better than no hair at all.
Well, that's true. And we see Grumpy backing up. And this is our winning run.
Real good run there for Grumpy.
We can hear all the people applauding. And here we have Mike Culberson with a winning time of 1 minute 46, 47,
47.5 seconds. So
Good
congratulations to Mike Culberson and all the Winston Cup truck drivers, because these guys, week in and week out, get these race cars to the track.
May have a new color man on our hands here with Billy Delahaye, huh? Well, here comes the green flag to resume racing. Weather conditions have changed here in the last few minutes as the cloud cover has really moved over, dropping temperatures. The green flag comes out on lap 176. That's Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon up front.
This cooled off so much we may have to turn off the air conditioner around.
I doubt that.
And we can see that Mark Martin already jumped out to a 2, 3, 4 car length advantage on Jeff Gordon. And meanwhile, they are racing some serious racing going on behind these guys.
And that's back there where Dale Earnhardt is, behind a big group of cars.
Mark Martin looking for 2 consecutive wins in NASCAR Winston Cup competition here at Michigan to add to last Sunday's victory at Watkins Glen. There's the big pack of cars behind Mark.
There's Earnhardt, late speed. The 55 car, Ted Musgrave, that's for position.
3 abreast racing here, Bobby Hillin and Kenny Wallace and Brett Bodine. Brett and Greg Sachs did make pit stops under that caution.
Morgan Shepherd trying to take over third from Dale Jarrett up ahead of this group of cars.
See Wally Dallenbach, he spent several laps in the pits, put in a axle back in his car where he broke an axle on the pit stop. B.J. Jones, the white car directly behind them. He gets to some Morgan Shepherd's car. He looks back at Dale Jarrett, and
Yeah, he just passed him going into turn 3. Took third away.
Inside Jeff Bodine's Motorcraft Ford now with the telemetry. See how he's doing now compared to earlier in the day when he had 199 miles an hour at the end of the tri-oval and backstretch.
well, Jeff spent some time in the pit, so I don't know if the engine's running up to full song now. You can see he's down to 164 miles per hour through the corner.
I don't think he's going to get any way close to 199.
Not down the inside the racetrack there he is.
And he is several laps down. Now we see Bobby Labonte. Good run for Bobby Labonte, the Max Allowed car.
193 and then the break.
Jeff Bodine had some overheating problems with the Motorcraft Ford. And is being shown in the 24th position right now, a couple of laps behind the leaders.
So we see Ted Musgrave. There's Dale Earnhardt pulling up behind Musgrave.
And the interval between that pack of cars and the leader, Mark Martin.
Right now, Dale Earnhardt, our Winston Cup points leader, is running 9th position.
Here's third and fourth.
There is Morgan Shepherd, and the interval between Martin and Shepherd, first to third, is 1.1 seconds. And you can see Rick Wilson's car down on the apron once again as he makes his way slowly around this racetrack. We'll take another break and be right back with more from Michigan. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. By Maxwell House Coffee, blended with Colombian beans, always good to the last drop. And by Allied Signals Fram filters, you can pay a little now or a lot later. Well, is the luck of the Irish that we talked about early in the show going to hold for Mark Martin? He leads. Here's a side-by-side battle involving Lake Speed and Bobby Labonte.
And Lake takes the position away from Bobby going into turn 1. That it moves Lake into the 6th position. You see Rusty Wallace just ahead of him there. Rusty's in 5th place.
Here's a Fram field summary.
Got by Ted Musgrave now in the 8th spot.
16 cars are on the lead lap. Jeff Bodine is down 2 laps in the Motorcraft Ford. Harry Gant crashed out. So did Hut Strickland. And Todd Bodine.
Morgan Shepherd is gaining on the car number 24 of Jeff Gordon.
Western Auto Mechanic of the race. So we congratulate Leonard on that distinction here this afternoon at Michigan. Morgan's had a great race all afternoon. Started fourth and is currently third, but moving in on second place, Jeff Gordon.
Able to keep the car right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Remember, Jeff Gordon, the last pit stop they made, he only took on 2 tires.
Right.
And
he passed up an opportunity to come in and get 2 during that other caution, so just having to live with it.
Just didn't want to give up that track position as Lake Speed now moves in on Rusty Wallace, trying to take over the 5th position. Wallace's car, he's having to drive it very high in the turn, and that opens the door for Lake to drive under him. There's Bobby Labonte still having a great run here today, and he's going to try to follow Lake Speed around Rusty Wallace. Don't know if he can make it work or not.
Chose to go with his 4 teammates.
Right now, I think he's a little indecisive.
Well, Lake couldn't quite do it. Just wouldn't stick down there.
Meanwhile, right behind him, Ted Musgrave is trying to pass Dale Earnhardt and does.
Yeah.
So that's 4 points that Earnhardt has lost.
Look at that draft that Earnhardt has going.
Well, he's trying to make the back end of that Ford just going into the turn. He could pass him again.
That wasn't a draft. That was a push.
We got 14 laps to go.
He's got to run on Rusty this time.
Well, Rusty comes back. He has some momentum off the turn.
He's going to say, okay.
6 and 7. Wallace, Speed, Labonte.
It'll be 13 laps to go when they come back.
Well, we're going to take another break here so that we'll be back and set up things for the finish of this race. Right now, it is Mark Martin leading and looking very, very strong. ESPN Speed World in the closing laps of the Champion Spark Plug 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race from Michigan International Speedway. Mark Martin is on your left. Here comes Jeff Gordon in second, Morgan Shepherd in third. There is Dale Jarrett. And look at Morgan Shepherd, or rather Ted Musgrave, close in on Bobby Labonte.
Well, we saw him pass Dale Earnhardt there a little while ago, and they were pretty far behind this group, and Musgrave has just run them down and caught them. Now wants to pass them.
Musgrave been doing a fabulous job this afternoon in driving it. Jasper engine, U.S. Air car, and if we just joined us, we did say at the front of the show that Ted Musgrave in the 55 car will be driving the 16 car. Here we go, race for second.
Morgan Shepherd trying to take second away from Jeff Gordon with less than 10 laps to go. From the in-car camera, carried by Morgan. He cannot make the pass coming off the second corner. They go down the back stretch.
Okay, real quick. Ted Musgrave's going to drive the 16 car for Jack Roush next year. Thank you.
And did they really 16 car? You got that part in there. Jack Roush car. I don't know that you out of the town, but Shepherd's still trying to figure a way around Jeff Gordon.
You know, Jeff Gordon finished second here in June.
Yep, sure did.
Musgrave did pass Bobby Labonte. So he's now 7th. Musgrave 7th.
9 laps to go. Here Musgrave, he's got the group worked out on the bottom of the racetrack. Now, if he can just get to these guys, it's not going to be a problem.
There's the leader, Mark Martin, looking for his second win in a row and his second win of the 93 season. Behind him, Morgan Shepherd still trying to wrestle away second place from Jeff Gordon, who is trying to finish second. Actually, he'd like to win, but he finished second here in June, and that's where he's running now.
Now, Lake Speed has a run on Rusty Wallace once again, down on the inside. But when they get to the turn down here, he has to back off. And Rusty's been able to stay up there with him. Let's see what happens this time. And it looks like Lake had to back off once again. But here comes Ted Musgrave down on the inside when Lake backed off. But didn't quite stick enough for him that time, did he?
No, not quite. But it did allow Musgrave to get right up on the back bumper of these cars. He figures if Lake will try that one more time, you'll be able to pass him. Lake's going to try it one more time.
He's going to look to the inside at least. Sterling Marlin has dropped off the pace down the backstretch while we continue to watch this great battle, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th here.
There is one car's on the lead lap there. You see Ted Musgrave now down on the inside of Lake Speed. Can he make it work coming off that turn?
Right, here goes Bobby Labonte to block that spot, so now he has no choice except to try to pass Lake Speed on the bottom.
Well, he might get passed on the high side by Bobby Labonte there. Rusty Wallace is loving that while those guys race back there. Allow him to get just a little bit away from Lake Speed.
6 laps to go for Mark Martin. Jeff Gordon is still second, then Morgan Shepherd, Dale Jarrett, and then this group. Wallace, Speed, Labonte, and Musgrave. There's Mark. There is Jeff and Morgan. Dale Jarrett's running all by himself in 4th, and now 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And Musgrave got by Bobby Labonte again. Well, we brought back the camera to our leader. Rookies 2nd and 8th. So, Ned, it looks to me like Winston Cup racing is alive and well with the young drivers we have today.
Lots of talent, no question about it. They're very strong.
5 laps to go now. Now Musgrave again tries to take over the position from Lake Speed.
It's slick down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Plus, you pinch the car down, and it kills your momentum. Drops the RPMs on the car, and then the car on the outside just gets about drives away with that momentum he's built up on the outside. But I think Lake Speed is faster than either one of them. I mean, Ted Musgrave is faster than either one of them, but he just simply can't get by. There's a race for second as we come to the line here. Morgan Shepherd has moved on the inside of Jeff Gordon going into turn 1. He might have him this time.
Yes, he does. Use the inside line. Gordon back to 3rd now with 4 laps to go. Morgan Shepherd is 2nd, Jeff Gordon 3rd. And here once again is Musgrave to the inside of Speed. They're having a great battle.
They are really having a super race.
Dale Earnhardt, the NASCAR Winston Cup points leader, is running 9th as there are 15 cars on the lead lap.
He's not going to lose nearly as many points as he would have had he not been able to get that lap back.
Yep. 3 to go for Mark Martin.
Side by side. I tell you what, that Jasper engine's doing a pretty good job because Lake Speed is able to get some draft off Rusty Wallace. Musgrave's down on the bottom all by himself, able to keep up. And he come up, Ted. Nah, don't do it now. I need to spot the Ted, don't I?
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm pulling against Lake Speed. No, I'm not pulling against Lake Speed.
Just tell him what he had to do to make the pass.
Exactly.
He's had another great race as he had at Watkins Glen before suffering mechanical problems.
Now then, Bobby Labonte's going to try to pass all of them with all this traffic. Now, what kind of deal is this?
He went inside the white line on the apron to get around Sterling Marlin, who was only running about 60 or 70 miles an hour.
Wow, that looked like a Dale Earnhardt move that Bobby Labonte just pulled off. I think he thrilled this crowd.
The crowd, which was kind of asleep, really was awakened by that move.
Lap and a half to go. Here comes Mark Martin. He's coming down to the white, isn't he, Bob?
Yes, he is. And those shamrocks and horseshoes and every other kind of superstitious tool here in the Irish Hills appears to be working for Mark Martin because he has less than 2 miles to go for a victory. The battle for second place remains close. Morgan Shepherd has it right now, but right there is Jeff Gordon. We look back on Jeff from Morgan's 6-hole Ford. They both come off the second corner while Mark Martin is halfway down the backstretch. There's Dale Jarrett running again by himself. Wallace, Speed, and Musgrave continue to run nose to tail.
All right, Mark Martin is coming off turn 4 as we watch these guys go in turn 3.
And Mark Martin, here he comes. He wins his 9th career NASCAR Winston Cup race in his 222nd start. Shepherd is second. Then Gordon. Look at this battle. It is Musgrave almost got the position from both Speed and Wallace.
And I don't know who finished fifth. They're behind them on 6. But Musgrave does fifth. There's a dead heat between Lake Speed and Rusty Wallace.
Punch with Steve Meal.
Steve, congratulations. This track owes you one, I believe.
Well, I don't know if any place owes us one. We had a great weekend. I had a tough weekend at home. I'd like to say, Tyler, hope you're feeling better. Shane, I hope you're being careful on your jet ski. And Lacey, you got to be the toughest woman in the world. I'm off racing. You're keeping the home fire burning, and I appreciate it.
Steve Mill, very, very happy, on his way to victory lane to celebrate with Mark Martin.
Mark Martin, his 7th top 5 finish in his last 9 races. He continues his great late season charge for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship.
34-year-old Mark Martin climbs out of his car at victory lane. And Mark, congratulations on a win here at Michigan.
Thanks. I tell you what, those Goodyear radials were great. That last set was perfect. I want to thank Valvoline and this crew. You know, they worked so hard all summer long, put me in great race cars. And Ricky Rudd was tough today, and he had some bad luck and kind of left it to us.
Sort of role reversal from June. Does this make up for what happened a couple of months ago?
Well, that one's gone, and you'll never get it back. And you know, I've been wanting for a long time to win a Busch race on Saturday, and then the Winston Cup race on Sunday. And this is a great weekend, especially after Watkins Glen. It's great.
And he pulled off the sweep as he celebrates here with his family in victory lane. Bob?
A great weekend for Mark Martin, and a great weekend of racing here in Michigan International, as second place car was Morgan Shepherd, third was Jeff Gordon, fourth was Dale Jarrett, and fifth was Ted Musgrave with an average speed of just a little over 144 miles an hour. Here's the official results. We'll show them to you very quickly because we have to get off the air here. Bill Elliott finished in 10th. Dale Earnhardt was in 9th position when the checkered flag dropped.
Bill Parsons back in 19th. Jimmy Spencer 20th. Kenny Wallace 23rd, one of the rookies. And Jeff Bodine, after his trouble, finished 24th.
Harry Gant, last year's winner, finished down in 30th position. Ernie Irvin had a good run for a while, finishes in 32nd. Rudd, 35th. Todd Bodine finished in 40th position, and Rich Bickle was 41st. The point standings now. Earnhardt is still on top, but Dale Jarrett gained 22, Rusty Wallace gained 17, Mark Martin gained 42, and Morgan Shepherd gained 32 points. A week from this coming Saturday night, August 28th, the annual visit to Bristol International Speedway at night, the Bud 500. Join us for that race. That's our next coverage of NASCAR Winston Cup competition. We thank you for joining us here this afternoon. For Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch, I'm Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.